Chapter 224. This father did not even have the time to make an oath when I was picking up girls in the past, but you are just a puny profound core cultivator. Do you think you are worthy enough to make me swear? As Ning Qing spoke, he had already started to continuously put up a variety of restrictions. These restrictions shackled the ring one after another, preventing Feng Yushan from exploding his small world. If Ning Qing really ended up trapped in this place, then he might not have any way to threaten Feng Yushan. No matter how good the miniature world was, it could only be used to preserve one's life, grow spiritual grasses, and let Grey Toot Toot live there. Although Ning Qing did not believe in oaths, but since he had decided to cultivate the Tao, he did not want to be affected by such an accident. In his heart, he couldn't wait to kill Feng Yushan. Letting Feng Yushan off like this was clearly not in line with his character. Although the miniature world was not bad, it would not be better than his mysterious yellow bead. Seeing Ning Qing take out the imprisonment ring without any hesitation, Feng Yushan felt both shocked and angry at the same time. He immediately understood that Ning Qing wanted his life, and did not want to compromise with him. After Feng Yushan understood this, despair rose in his heart. At the same time, his golden core swelled up. Since he wanted his life, then even if he had to self-destruct, he would not let Ning Qing obtain the miniature world. Terrifying berserk true essence aura filled the entire ring. However, this aura was completely sealed by Ning Qing's various restrictions. At the same time, Ning Qing's spiritual consciousness began to temper the original restrictions of the miniature world. The terrifying aura that erupted from Feng Yushan's golden core was quickly perceived by Ning Qing. He knew that Feng Yushan wanted to blow himself up. Not only was Feng Yushan going to detonate his golden core, but he was also going to detonate his small world. Otherwise, with Feng Yushan's current degree of freedom, he could completely self-destruct his golden core and wouldn't need to wait for so long. Ning Qing didn't care about Feng Yushan's self-destruction. He knew that he couldn't do anything about it. What he wanted was to protect this small world. Ning Qing shot out one restriction after another, as Ning Qing used the craziest speed to seal the ring. At the same time, his spiritual consciousness began to repeatedly temper the restrictions placed on the outside of the miniature world. Boom! A terrifying explosion sound tore through Ning Qing's various restrictions and shackles, causing Ning Qing's sea of consciousness to tremble in pain. The corner of Ning Qing's mouth, because he had used all his strength to bind the miniature world, caused a trace of blood to flow out. This terrifying explosion sound transmitted from the ring to Ning Qing's sea of consciousness. Ning Qing knew that this was the sound of Feng Yushan exploding his golden core. Perhaps it was because the small world was too sturdy, or perhaps it was bound by countless restrictions, but it was still there. He just didn't know what the losses were inside. Ning Qing did not move. His spiritual consciousness continued to refine the ring, while simultaneously grinding away the restrictions on the outside of the ring. Not knowing for how long, Ning Qing's spiritual consciousness finally felt lighter, as all the restrictions on the outside of the ring disappeared. He saw an incomparably desolate ravine. This place was like a small island, but the small island had become a mess. Not to mention spirit herbs, there wasn't even a blade of weed. Even the pair of yin-yang locks had turned into useless remains. Ning Qing gave out a sigh of relief. He knew that under his own shackles, this miniature world had become even more dilapidated because of Feng Yushan's self-detonation, but at least he managed to preserve it. In the future, as long as he managed it slowly, even if he couldn't recover to the state that Feng Yushan was in, it would be enough for him to use. Ning Qing did not leave. He continued to refine the ring. Unknowingly, another month passed by, and Ning Qing finally managed to completely refine this miniature world. He stood up and put the ring on his finger. Although he had killed Feng Yushan, but he did not obtain any cultivation resources, but he was able to obtain a broken miniature world. Ning Qing was already very satisfied. Now he could finally go out. Casting a few dirt removal techniques on himself, Ning Qing stimulated the twin wings of the heavenly clouds and instantly disappeared from this place. There were still many cultivators trapped here, but Ning Cheng did not know them, as such he did not have the ability to rescue all of them. Using the best quality spirit stone to activate the spiritual qi, he could only take away 4 or 5 people at most. A very familiar voice made Ning Cheng think that he had heard it wrong, but he knew that this was definitely the voice of Grey Toot Toot. Ning Cheng was surprised in his heart. Didn't Grey Toot Toot leave with Yan Ji in Xiangjilan? Why was it still here? Could it be that the transmission array could not be used? Immediately his spiritual consciousness saw Grey Toot Toot. He not only saw Grey Toot Toot, but also saw Yan Ji. Yan Ji's entire body was dirty, her hair was disheveled, and her hands were constantly making some gestures to arrange an array formation. What was different from his initial situation was that when he was deducing the array formation, Grey Toot Toot had been following behind him, but at this time Yan Ji was actually following behind Grey Toot Toot. Grey Toot Toot had a keen sense of smell, as such it was obviously able to sense Ning Cheng first, and immediately called out. Ning Cheng waved his twin wings of the heavenly clouds, and immediately landed in front of Yan Ji. Junior apprentice Sister Ji, what's wrong with you? Yan Ji ignored Ning Cheng, and was still constantly making gestures with her hands. Ning Cheng knew that Yan Ji should have lost herself in the grand array, just like those cultivators that he had seen before. This was just the beginning. As long as another 10 years passed, he estimated that Yan Ji would be no different from those naked, skinny cultivators that he had seen before. Grey Toot Toot, on seeing Ning Cheng, immediately rushed over with a ee sound. It was obvious that it was extremely excited. Looking at Grey Toot Toot's skinny appearance, Ning Cheng took out a few pills and handed them to Grey Toot Toot, as he patted Grey Toot Toot's head and spoke, "First go inside the ring." Throwing everything that could be eaten into the miniature world ring, Ning Cheng then sent Grey Toot Toot into the ring. Just as he was about to seal Yan Ji, and take her away, he found that Yan Ji was circling around him, and was no longer moving forward. Apparently, it was because Yan Ji was used to following Grey Toot Toot. Now that Grey Toot Toot had disappeared, she did not know what to do. Ning Cheng directly sealed Yan Ji. He did not put Yan Ji into the miniature world ring, but rather helped Yan Ji clean up a bit, and then carried Yan Ji on his back. He did not know for what reason Yan Ji did not go out, or why she appeared in this place, or even lost herself. No matter what the reason was, it was definitely because of the grand array inside. As long as they left the grand array inside, Ning Cheng believed that with Yan Ji's qualifications, as well as the fact that she had not been lost for a long time, she should be able to wake up. As for carrying Yan Ji on his back, Ning Cheng knew that people who were lost were most afraid of loneliness. Loneliness would only make them sink deeper. Once again returning to the array heart, Ning Cheng was just about to take out the spirit stones and throw them into the blood river spiritual sacrifice, when he suddenly saw the golden light in the Tao charm circulating around the huge talisman, as the skeleton unexpectedly slowly sat up. Ning Cheng could also be considered as a profound congealing cultivator, but when he saw this situation, he also felt his scalp tingling. He was not afraid of ghosts and the like, but he did not know what kind of terrifying existence this skeleton was. Perhaps it could just casually slap him to death. He knew that after cultivating to the soul essence realm, one would be able to form an essence spirit. Since this skeleton was able to sit up, it was obvious that it had its own consciousness, and that there was still a remnant of its essence spirit. This junior mistakenly entered this place, and was just passing by, and disturbed senior, I ask for your forgiveness. Ning Cheng quickly gave a respectful bow and spoke. This kind of terrifying fellow, if he was not careful, then he would turn into ashes. For you to be able to find this place, it shows that you are not a simple person. I can feel the origin aura from your body. Is it possible that the mysterious yellow bead is on your body? After the skeleton sat up, it unexpectedly began to speak slowly to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng's scalp was now tingling, rather his entire body was tingling. This was the first time that someone knew that he had the mysterious yellow bead on his body. Although Ning Cheng had the mysterious yellow bead, he was also aware that he could not even display a billionth of the mysterious yellow bead's power. This kind of good thing, if it was known by others, then why would they not take it away? As if it knew what Ning Cheng was thinking, this skeleton still spoke in an unhurried manner. The mysterious yellow bead is one of the 5 things in the universe that can form the good fortune heaven and earth. For you to be able to get the mysterious yellow bead to recognize you as its master is your lucky chance. I will not take it from you, I just want to make a small deal with you. Ning Cheng did not believe the words spoken by the other party. He could only speak up, "Senior, as long as this junior can do it, I will definitely not refuse. Since it is a deal, then it must be something mutually beneficial. I did not think that in this kind of garbage place, there would unexpectedly be a good fortune treasure. It is really unexpected." The skeleton paused for a moment, as if it was trying to find the right words to say to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng did not dare to speak, but there was a great disappointment in his heart. Obviously, this golden talisman called Heaven Opening already had an owner, as such he would not be able to obtain it in the future. Your current cultivation is still low, as such I do not intend to ask for your help right now. I just want you to help me find 2 things. The first is the heavenly cusp flower, and the second is the geocentric 9-ene essence. The heavenly cusp flower may have other names, but it does not matter. You only need to know that it is something that can reshape your corporeal body. Although this thing is rubbish, but it is better than nothing. In this place, you can only find this kind of low-level stuff. The skeleton spoke to the end with a sigh. It was obvious that it was very helpless. This junior will definitely try his best to find it, but after this junior finds it, how would I be able to give it to senior? Ning Cheng had already restored his calm. He knew that he could not let the skeleton in front of him have even half a shred of doubt towards him. Originally, when he went out, he wanted to come back in again, but since this huge talisman belonged to such a terrifying fellow, then he did not want it. So after he went out, he did not intend to come back in again. I know that you are a little afraid of me, so after you go out, you do not want to come back in again. The skeleton seemed to know what Ning Cheng was thinking in his heart, as it inexplicably spoke out again. Ning Cheng stared at the skeleton in front of him with a dumbfounded look, as his heart shuddered. Just what kind of monster was this? How could it pry into his thoughts? You do not have to be afraid, or even worry about it. I am not a threat to you, you are not my opponent. Even if you have the good fortune mysterious yellow bead, you are still not my opponent. In order to not let you go through all this trouble in vain, I can satisfy any of your requests. The skeleton was just like a big bad wolf, as it spoke in an incomparably pleasant tone. Ning Cheng's heart jumped. He was trying his best to go back and see his little sister. Could it be that this fellow could help him return to Earth? Chapter 225. Seeing that Ning Cheng did not speak for a long time, the skeleton once again spoke. Since you can obtain the recognition of a good fortune treasure, then presumably you are also a reincarnated character. I can give you a piece of free information. Any good fortune treasure can form its own world, moreover it is a world that surpasses ordinary primal chaos worlds. However, for any good fortune treasure to truly form such a world, it must have certain prerequisites. The good fortune golden page is a treasure of the 5 elements. You need to gather the 5 elements to form a world. The good fortune jade disc is a treasure of the heavenly Tao yin and yang. You need to gather the primal chaos yin and yang to form a world. But your good fortune mysterious yellow bead is an origin treasure. You need to gather the most basic 5 kinds of origins. Only then can you form an independent world, and derive the rest of the origins. Otherwise, anything thrown into the mysterious yellow bead would only be refined by the mysterious yellow bead, disappearing without a trace, without leaving even half a trace. Senior, there is also the good fortune indestructible axe and the good fortune azure lotus. Seeing that the skeleton had only mentioned 3 of them, Ning Cheng could not help but add a sentence. The skeleton spoke in a light voice. You know a lot, but it is useless to say it, because it has nothing to do with you. Now, what do you want? Are you willing to trade with me? What Ning Cheng wanted the most in his heart was to return to Earth, to see his little sister. If possible, he also wanted to bring his little sister here. Although the strong were respected here, but as long as one cultivated, one's lifespan would be extremely long. What could be more desirable than immortality? This junior indeed comes from another plane, that place is called Earth. It is an ordinary mortal planet, but because this junior has a little sister there, this junior's biggest wish is to return to that place, to see my little sister. It would be best to bring my little sister here. Ning Qing knew that this skeleton was like a monster, as such he spoke a lot honestly. The skeleton was silent for a while, before it spoke. If you are sure that it is a plane, and not an interface, then I have no way to help you. If my strength is restored, then I can use the heaven-opening talisman to help you once. But my strength is still far from being restored. Ning Qing quickly spoke up. Then after I help Senior find the heavenly cusp flower and the geocentric 9 essence, would Senior have the strength? I can give it a try, but I am not sure if I can let you come back here. I'm very tired and I'm going to rest. In the future, when you find something, you can use this talisman to enter this place. The skeleton's tone became even slower. After he finished speaking, a talisman fell down from the talisman, and slowly floated towards Ning Qing's side. Ning Qing carefully held the talisman in his hand, and made sure that there was no problem with the talisman. Only then did he put the talisman into a jade box. Originally, Ning Qing also wanted to ask about the most powerful people in this world, and even what kind of places existed outside of the Yixing mainland. However, the skeleton had already slowly fallen to the ground, without the slightest sound. Only the golden talisman was still flowing with Taoist rhyme, floating above the skeleton. So powerful. Ning Qing calmed himself down before throwing the 1,000,000 spirit stones into the blood river. He then threw in his last best quality spirit stone. As he continued to throw out array flags, a spiritual mist vortex once again formed around him. This time, Ning Qing did not dare to sweep out with his spiritual consciousness. Instead, he immediately disappeared along with the spiritual Qi maelstrom. When Ning Qing landed on the ground, he had already appeared at the foot of the Blood River peak. I'm finally out. Ning Qing breathed a sigh of relief. The transmission array was indeed effective, but in his heart he could not understand how Yan Ji could fall into the bottom of the Blood River once again. Did Yan Ji want to collect the Blood River Red Lotus, and ended up falling in for the second time? Even if she fell in, wouldn't she have tried to deduce the array formation? Did she not know that she would get lost like this? Ning Qing shook his head, and put these thoughts aside. He did not immediately leave, but continued to collect the Blood River Red Lotus. With the experience of falling into the Blood River, Ning Qing believed that with his current cultivation and vigilance, he would absolutely not fall in for the second time. 3 days later, Ning Qing took dozens of Blood River Red Lotus, and left the Blood River Mountains. The next time he wanted to come here, he would have to find the heavenly cusp flower first. Otherwise, even if he came here, it would be meaningless. There was no one outside the Blood River Mountains. Even if there were no traces of cultivators in the surroundings, it was obvious that these cultivators had already entered the depths of the second segment of the Law's Way. In order to avoid letting everyone know that he was Ning Qing once again changed his appearance to his original appearance. After all, the title of Devil Cultivator was not a good one, at least for now it would only bring him more harm than good. Looking at Yan Ji who was being carried on his back, Ning Qing felt somewhat helpless. He did not know when Yan Ji would wake up, but before Yan Ji sobered up, he could only bring the other party through the Law's Way. He put Yan Ji down, while simultaneously unlocking the restrictions on Yan Ji's body, and then said to Yan Ji, "Wherever I go, you will follow me, do not run around, do you understand?" Contrary to Ning Qing's expectations, Yan Ji unexpectedly nodded. Apparently she understood the meaning of Ning Qing's words. Ning Qing was overjoyed in his heart. Yan Ji's performance showed that she was a little bit clear-headed. As long as he continued, maybe in a few days she would be able to fully wake up. Ning Qing began to search for some spiritual grasses in the Law's Way, and occasionally went into seclusion to refine pills and talismans. Regarding seclusion cultivation, Ning Qing had never thought about it. although he still had nearly 1,000,000 high-grade spirit stones on him, but Ning Cheng was sure that these spirit stones would not be of any help to his cultivation. Before, if he had not encountered the heaven-opening talisman, then he simply would not have been able to advance to the profound congealing 7th level. After advancing to the profound congealing 7th level, his core lake had become even thicker, and even more massive. But relatively speaking, the true essence in his core lake was dwarfed, and even less than half of it was left. Ning Cheng was just a rogue cultivator, although he had the mysterious yellow bead, but he did not have a master to guide him. In his view, to advance to the profound core realm, he must first fill up his core lake. Just like when he advanced from the essence-building realm to the profound congealing realm, only when his true essence had filled up his meridians and dantian, would he be able to form the embryonic form of his core lake. But according to his current progress, even if he cultivated to the profound congealing 9th level, he would not be able to advance to the profound core realm. Ning Cheng was sure that even if he cultivated to the profound congealing 9th level, his core lake would still be far from being filled up. Moreover, with the rise of his cultivation, his core lake was also becoming more and more solid and wider, which made it even more difficult for him to fill up his core lake. If it was just for the sake of advancing, then what was the use of it? Ning Cheng decided to wholeheartedly search for cultivation resources, and once the cultivation resources were enough to fill up his core lake, then he would once again attack the profound core realm. With Ning Cheng's cultivation, he also had enough experience in the second segment of the Law's Way. In just a few months, he had already collected a lot of spiritual grasses and good spiritual fruits. Although he had encountered several dangers, he was able to escape by relying on the twin heavenly cloud wings. Not only that, but he was also getting more and more proficient in using the twin heavenly cloud wings. After going through several dangerous situations, he was able to use the twin heavenly cloud wings to cast another kind of teleportation. This kind of teleportation was not a magical technique, but rather one that stimulated the twin heavenly cloud wings in the shortest possible time, allowing one to instantly disappear from that place. Although Yan Ji was still in a disorientated state, but compared to when she had just come out from the bottom of the blood river, she was much better. Perhaps it was the nature of female cultivators, at least she would occasionally use a dirt removal spell and a spirit cleansing spell on herself. What made Ning Cheng feel a bit relieved was that after leaving the bottom of the blood river, without the shackles of the grand array, Yan Ji also no longer tried to deduce the array formation. However, she did not speak, nor did she cultivate, nor did she look for spiritual herbs. Ning Cheng was afraid that it would be detrimental to her recovery, as such he deliberately called out Grey Toot Toot and let her hold it. The miniature world inside the ring was badly damaged, so after Ning Cheng refined the broken miniature world, he began to tidy up the inside. Many spirit herbs were transplanted into the small world by him. In order to make the miniature world more beautiful as soon as possible, Ning Cheng even moved the rank 1 spiritual grasses, even some of the flowers and grasses that did not belong to the category of spiritual grasses. The originally incomparably desolate miniature world, because of Ning Cheng's efforts, gradually became verdant and full of vitality. A year's time passed by in a flash. Ning Cheng's cultivation did not increase even a bit. Yan Ji's cultivation also did not increase even a bit. Yan Ji and Ning Cheng had already formed a tacit understanding. When Ning Cheng was collecting the spiritual grasses, she and Grey Toot Toot would wait in a safe place, and then take the initiative to throw out a few defensive array discs that Ning Cheng had refined. When Ning Cheng left, she would then take back the array discs and follow Ning Cheng. There was no need for Ning Cheng to call out to her. Ning Cheng found that the further he went, the lesser the spiritual grasses were. Moreover, the suppression on his spiritual consciousness was also getting weaker and weaker. He guessed that the second segment of the Law's Way would soon come to an end. On this day, his spiritual consciousness swept out to a very simple makeshift market. Ning Cheng was puzzled in his heart. Did he really come out of the Law's Way so easily? Seeing the makeshift market, and seeing even more cultivators, Ning Cheng sped up his pace. He wanted to ask the other cultivators. "Senior apprentice Sister Ji." A pleasantly surprised voice called out. Immediately this voice discovered Ning Cheng, and immediately spoke, "Are you senior apprentice brother Cheng?" "So it was you, Ji Tingting." Ning Cheng recognized this female cultivator in front of him. When he had just entered the Law's Way, Ji Tingting was also in the same team as him. What happened to senior apprentice sister Ji? Ji Tingting's attention completely fell on Yan Ji's body. It was obvious that her concern for Yan Ji far exceeded that of Ning Cheng. After a few years, at this time she was already a profound congealing third-level cultivator. Junior apprentice sister Ji has a little trouble, but it should not be a big problem. You can take me to the people from the Blue Cloud Academy. I will tell them about the situation. Right, what is going on here? How did it form a simple makeshift market? Ning Cheng and Yan Ji had been together for such a long time, he could feel that Yan Ji was slowly getting better. Although this process was very slow, but eventually she would definitely recover. Ji Tingting looked at Yan Ji with a puzzled expression, but did not answer Ning Cheng's words, and just quickly spoke, "I will go and find senior apprentice brother Xiang and senior apprentice brother Yan Xian." Looking at Ji Tingting who was already far away, Ning Cheng frowned, as he pulled another intermediate stage profound congealing cultivator and asked, "Friend, why is there a makeshift market here? Is there someone blocking the way?" This cultivator was just about to flare up, but then he felt that Ning Cheng's cultivation was higher than his, and quickly spoke, "This is the real entrance to the Law's Way. In front of us is the place to enter the Law's Way. Once you pass through the Law's Way, and enter the third segment, there is an 80% chance that you will be able to come out. Once you do not pass through the Law's Way, you can only wait here, and look for opportunities. All the people here are unable to pass through the Law's Way." This cultivator had not even finished his words, when Ning Cheng heard a burst of angry shouts, "Kill that devil cultivator." Chapter 226. Ning Cheng spoke up in a light voice, "I do not understand the devil Tao, and I am also not a devil cultivator. People with different paths cannot make plans together. Elder brother C, please leave." Xiang sneered and spoke, "What happened to junior apprentice sister Ji? Would she lose herself? Why don't you tell us?" "Surnamed Cheng, I have long heard of you. You are obviously a profound core expert, but pretends to be a cultivator with a poor cultivation, in order to win sympathy, and then fish for benefits. Whether it is true or false, Zhang Sun Yen and Nalan Rushue are both aware of it. I think they should be here too. Just call them out for a confrontation." Ning Cheng, on seeing more and more cultivators arriving, as well as more and more profound core 9th level cultivators arriving, he knew that today's matter would not be easy to resolve. Ning Cheng could clearly see that when Xiang had said that he was a devil cultivator, the corners of those profound core cultivators' mouths only showed a hint of sneer. But when they heard that he had 10 million spirit stones on him, these cultivators' eyes were filled with fanaticism. "I also came to know about it. Initially when we entered the second segment of the Law's Way, this person had plundered the wealth of dozens of profound core cultivators. Now, it seemed like this person's schemes ran deep, long premeditated. Not only did he plunder everyone's things, he even wanted others to be grateful to him. Today, let's tear off his disguise and take a look." Another profound core cultivator came forward and spoke in a cold voice. Ning Cheng also knew this woman. Her name was Hu Miaojing, and she was originally in the same team as him. For these cultivators to be here, it was clear that they were much stronger than those cultivators who had been guarding the entrance of the second section. Although he had a rank 6 puppet, but as long as the other side sent a few profound core 9th level cultivators to pin down the puppet, the rest of the people could easily kill him. "This is what I'm thinking. Let's work together and rush out of this formation in the shortest time possible and enter the entrance of the third section. I've already figured out what's going on with this formation. If I were to break it alone, I wouldn't have enough time. When the time comes, I'll give you the array flag, and we can quickly break the array together." Ning Cheng understood in his heart that this was the same as entering the second segment. The only difference was that the cultivators in the second section were too ruthless. However, this place was different. They would only accept spirit stones and would not go to extremes. In any case, all the cultivators who wanted to enter the third stage would have to pay spirit stones. Otherwise, he could only stay here and cultivate day and night. The cosmic true devil axe chopped out, causing countless tiny axe lines to burst out just like a clap of thunder. The surrounding space immediately turned chaotic, as several profound congealing cultivators who wanted to rush into Ning City were directly split apart by this axe line. At this moment, Ning Cheng had already stimulated his twin heavenly cloud wings, and soon disappeared from this place. The entrance to the third segment was also known as the true entrance to the Law's Way. There was a makeshift market here, because for countless years, the cultivators who could not pass through the third segment, would end up trapped here. Of course, the laws of heaven and earth here were complete, so one could cultivate in seclusion here. Some cultivators can still break into the third stage after being trapped for decades. Just as this female cultivator's voice fell, Ning Cheng immediately saw Xiang, who was also the one who had just said that he had killed the devil cultivator. This fellow was the first to say that he would kill the devil cultivator, but he was the last to leave. You know that they have already passed through the second segment of the Law's Way, and only then would you say that, right? After Xiang finished speaking in a disdainful manner, he cupped his fists towards the dozens of profound core cultivators surrounding him and spoke, "Fellow senior apprentice brothers and senior apprentice sisters, this person is insidious and cunning, he kills people like flies, moreover he is also a devil cultivator. Moreover, he had also collected a huge amount of spirit stones, I estimate that it would be at least 10 million. Who is it?" Ning Cheng was just thinking of making a temporary immortal cave, when a spiritual consciousness fluctuated around him. In just a moment, Ning Cheng was already aware of it. "I am Si Bing, a rogue cultivator. Before this friend escaped from the entrance to the third segment of the Law's Way, your strength is incomparably strong, this Si Bing really admires you." This cultivator cupped his fists towards Ning Cheng, as he spoke in a calm tone. "This friend really is vigilant." An unhurried voice arrived, and then a young cultivator wearing a grey cultivator robe appeared in the range of Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness, and soon this cultivator arrived in front of Ning Cheng. This was a profound core 7th level cultivator, with a medium stature, and a trace of sinister aura emanating from his body. Moreover, there was also a kind of faint killing intent fluctuation coming from him. Ning Cheng could immediately feel that this person was not an ordinary person. Si Bing continued, "From the second segment to the third segment, there is a real comprehension of the laws. If you want to enter the third segment, then you must pass through this comprehension of the laws. Many of the cultivators who cannot comprehend the laws, can only get stuck here." Over time, more and more cultivators gathered here, forming a simple makeshift market. Some of the strong people, in order to obtain cultivation resources, arrange an array formation before entering the third segment. All the cultivators who want to pass through this array formation, and enter the third segment, must pay a certain amount of spirit stones. As this profound core cultivator spoke, most of the cultivators present brought out their magical weapons, as they slowly spread out, wanting to surround Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng's eyes turned cold, as he stared at Si Bing and spoke, "It looks like you know a lot, since you know that I have the twin heavenly cloud wings, are you not afraid that I will kill you? Or perhaps you want to rob me of my twin heavenly cloud wings?" Si Bing gave a faint smile, "Of course there is no problem, in fact this is the real entrance to the Law's Way. This entrance not only tests one's cultivation, but also tests one's perception and aptitude. It is not that the higher one's cultivation, the more one would be able to pass through. Sometimes even if you only have the cultivation of essence building realm, but your perception is first class, you can still pass through this section. The real good things inside the Law's Way, are all in the third segment. For example, the spiritual enhancement true nectar that everyone wants to obtain." Looking at the surroundings, Ning Cheng intended to wait here for a few days, and then secretly rush through. Since not everyone can pass through the third segment, then as long as he rushed through the entrance of the third segment, it would be more or less enough. It was not that Ning Cheng looked down on devil cultivators, but he himself was also regarded as a devil cultivator. He wanted to rush through the third segment of the law's way alone, and did not want to mix with this Si Bing. Si Bing once again spoke with a smile. Elder brother Ning looks down on this Si Bing too much. Since I am the one who proposed the cooperation, I will not do such a dirty thing. Of course, I do not care about elder brother Ning silencing me. I believe that elder brother Ning is also aware. If I was so easy to be silenced, then I would not have stayed here for so many years. Ning Cheng saw the dozens of profound core cultivators surrounding him. He immediately made up his mind, and decided to leave first. The few cultivators who discovered that Ning Cheng possessed the twin heavenly cloud wings were trembling with excitement. This kind of secret was something that they absolutely could not divulge. As long as they could kill this cultivator who possessed the twin heavenly cloud wings alone, then the twin heavenly cloud wings would belong to them. Ning Cheng had seen this person before, although he did not know the name of the cultivator who spoke, but he knew that this person was also saved by him. Si Bing did not know that Ning Cheng was an array formation master that was more powerful than him, as such he just wanted Ning Cheng to cooperate with him. Ning Cheng immediately became vigilant in his heart. This Si Bing was somewhat strange, not to mention that he was not aware of the other party a moment ago. Even when he was leaving the makeshift market, he also did not discover this Si Bing. Moreover, this person had a trace of strange true essence flowing through his body, which made Ning Cheng somewhat familiar with it. Ning Cheng did not go far. He still had to pass through the second segment of the law's way. As such, going too far was definitely not good. Surname Cheng, senior apprentice Sister Ji, in order to help you, brought you to join the team. Are you still a human? You even caused senior apprentice Sister Ji to lose her mind. Another angry woman called out. Ha ha. Si Bing laughed and spoke. Elder brother Cheng may not know the degree of hatred that the cultivators of the 9 continents have for the devil path. Whether you are a devil cultivator or not is not something that you can decide for yourself. But the reason why I came here is not to discuss this matter with elder brother Cheng. I want to cooperate with elder brother Cheng, and break through the third segment of the law's way together. Elder brother Cheng's twin heavenly cloud wings are very good. If we cooperate with each other, then breaking through the third segment would not be impossible. Ning Cheng did not take Yan Ji away with him. Yan Ji had many of her fellow apprentice brothers and sisters, as such he did not need to worry about her. When Yan Ji completely sobered up, she naturally knew what was going on. He did not have the time to take away Grey Toot Toot. In any case, with Yan Ji's qualifications, she could absolutely enter the third segment of the law's way. Later on, he would go and ask Yan Ji. Ning Cheng was very calm in his heart. This kind of thing was something he had seen many times before, as such there was no need to get angry. If he was strong enough, then he would not hesitate to kill all those people who besieged him. In this place, you can have kindness, but there was no need to use benevolence to win people over. This was not a place to win people over by virtue. Ning Cheng cupped his fists and spoke. Everyone misunderstood me. Junior apprentice sister Yan Ji had encountered a little problem. I saved her, and brought her here. What kind of magical technique was that? A profound core 9th level cultivator looked at the place where Ning Cheng disappeared, and spoke out in surprise. Ning Cheng had used the true cosmic devil axe to create chaos in his true essence, and then wielded the twin heavenly cloud wings, but only a few cultivators were able to discover it. Most of the people were not even aware of it. Such scum, why bother keeping him? Let's go together. A profound core 9th level cultivator shouted out, as he brought out a magical weapon and locked onto Ning Cheng. If he had not heard that Ning Cheng had killed dozens of profound core cultivators by himself, he would have directly come forward. Ning Cheng had just arrived here, as such he did not understand anything about the third segment of the law's way. When he heard Si Bing's words, he was moved in his heart, as he cupped his fists and asked, "Can elder brother Si tell me about the situation in this third segment?" He was sure that these people wanted to attack him, not because he was a devil cultivator, but because of the things on his body. Fortunately, he had the twin heavenly cloud wings, as such unless a genuine soul essence cultivator came, otherwise they would not be able to kill him. I am called Qing Xiaoning. Is elder brother C a person from the devil path? Ning Qing also cupped his fists, as he calmly asked. If Nailan Rushue and Zhang Sun Yen were here, then they should have already come out. Ning Qing himself was not able to explain that he was able to come out from the bottom of the blood river. Moreover, he did not want this matter to be exposed. Ning Qing's heart sank. There were more than 100 profound core cultivators here. Moreover, there were more than 20 of them at profound core 9th level. Even if these profound core 9th level cultivators surrounded him, he would not be able to escape. How does elder brother C want to cooperate? Please speak. Ning Qing, on hearing this, was already somewhat moved in his heart. He did not understand anything about this place, but looking at this Si Bing, it was obvious that he had a very good understanding of this place. In this kind of combat situation, his poor rank 6 puppet was not even as powerful as the broken core pearl. Si Bing gave a faint smile and spoke, "That's right, I am a genuine person from the devil path, and am not one of those people who do all sorts of bad things, and then claim to be a devil cultivator. Elder brother Qing should also be, because you belong to the devil path, as such you ended up being besieged by those pretentious righteous cultivators, right?" Chapter 227. Ning Qing understood Si Bing's idea. Si Bing's array formation level was limited, so he wanted to find someone who could cooperate with him, and then use the fastest speed to break through this blocking array formation. The cultivation of the person working with him did not necessarily have to be high, but the person must be fast. Moreover, he had the twin heavenly cloud wings, which made his speed incomparably powerful, so he was obviously the best candidate for him. Okay. Ning Qing immediately agreed. Good, good. Si Bing took out more than a dozen array flags, and then handed over an array chart to Ning Qing and spoke, "Take a look at these array flags and array charts. You will be responsible for placing the array flags for the Qian Palace, the Qin Palace, the Zhen Palace and the Zhen Palace. I will be responsible for the rest." As soon as Ning Qing heard it, he knew that Si Bing did not care about his array formation skills, and was just using his speed to let him drop the array flags. However, according to Si Bing's statement, he was indeed taking advantage of the situation. As long as he dropped a few array flags, he would not have to be responsible for anything else. Moreover, from the placement of the array flag and the array diagram, Si Bing did not seem to be secretly plotting against him. "When do we start?" Ning Qing asked as he put away the array flags and the array diagram. "Let's do it tonight. I can't wait any longer. If you don't show up, I will make my move in a few days," said Si Bing with a smile. Saying that, he also added a sentence, "Elder brother Qing, although I am a murderous person, but I will not secretly harm others. Tonight, according to my method, we can definitely enter the entrance of the third segment of the law's way. But if brother Ning is unable to break through, and is pushed out by the power of the restrictions of the law's way, and falls into the hands of others, then don't say that I did anything to you." Ning Qing spoke up in a cold voice, "Elder brother C does not need to worry about this. Being pushed out is because my cultivation is not good enough, it has nothing to do with elder brother C." Although this Si Bing looked like an open and aboveboard person, but Ning Qing did not believe him. Si Bing saw that Ning Qing did not intend to speak much with him, and also no longer spoke any nonsense, as he found a place not far away and closed his eyes to rest. Inside the law's way, there was also a division of day and night, as such it was indeed better to act during the night than during the day. Gray toot toot. Although Ning Qing was not afraid of Si Bing, but his spiritual consciousness was always in a state of caution. He did not notice any unusual movements from Si Bing, but he once again saw Gray toot toot. Not only did he see Gray toot toot, but he also saw Yan Ji. Yan Ji followed behind Gray toot toot, and seemed to be very anxious. Gray toot toot's sense of smell was obviously unparalleled, as it directly ran towards Ning Qing. Under the dim yellow light, when Yan Ji saw Ning Qing, her anxious mood suddenly disappeared without a trace. Ning Qing immediately knew that Yan Ji and Grey Toot Toot had sneaked out. It should be that Yan Ji was looking for him, and then Grey Toot Toot led the way. Perhaps it was because Grey Toot Toot was looking for him, and Yan Ji was following behind him. Haha, elder brother Qing really is an expert. Such a stunning woman is unexpectedly unable to leave you for even a quarter of an hour. Si Bing's voice arrived, his tone was a bit strange. Ning Qing ignored him, he could feel that Yan Ji was somewhat dependent on him. This made him feel somewhat helpless. Yan Ji was a core disciple of an 8-star academy. Once he ended up being hunted down by an 8-star academy, it would definitely not be a joke. Elder brother Qing, what I mean is that we should go now, what do you think? Si Bing quickly changed the topic back to business. All right. Ning Qing nodded in agreement without any hesitation, and simultaneously put Grey Toot Toot into the spiritual beast bag, while carrying Yan Ji on his back. Si Bing's entire body exuded a strange feeling. Ning Qing was not willing to let him know that he had a miniature world. Did senior apprentice Sister Ji leave? Ji Tingting suddenly sobered up, she actually did not know when Yan Ji had left. She was just about to rush out, and inform the few profound core senior apprentice brothers of the Blue Cloud Academy about this matter, when she heard the sound of a true essence explosion. 2 devil cultivators are teaming up to break through the array formation, everyone together ah. The shout let Ji Tingting know that Qing Xiaoning unexpectedly wanted to break through the 3rd segment of the Law's Way at night. Si Bing's complexion was very ugly to look at, he did not think that before he could even reach the array formation, he would be stopped by someone. Elder brother Si, it looks like your foolproof plan is not very good ah. Ning Qing was not anxious in his heart. He looked at Si Bing's desperate appearance, and knew that Si Bing had not thought of this point. Si Bing clenched his teeth and spoke, I am sure that there is no problem with my method. It is absolutely impossible for there to be so many cultivators coming out at night. I have been observing for more than half a year. When Ning Qing heard these words, he was moved in his heart, but soon his complexion turned as ugly as Si Bing's. He already understood what was going on. It should be that someone had approached Yan Ji, and placed a spiritual consciousness tag on her body. From this, it could be seen that Yan Ji coming out at night to look for him was completely premeditated. As long as he brought Yan Ji over, it would definitely be detected by someone. Ha! These 2 devil cubs unexpectedly teamed up, everyone together. As long as the cultivators who participated in the extermination of these devil cubs, they would all be able to obtain some benefits. A profound core 9th level cultivator gave a loud laugh, as the sword-shaped magical weapon in his hands immediately shot out. A series of phantoms broke through the air, giving off a ping-ping sound. The true essence stimulated by the sword chi was just like an inexhaustible amount of blades, as it locked onto Ning Qing. Ning Qing's true cosmic devil axe also rolled up a burst of devil chi, as it tore apart these blades of sword chi from the inside out. Peng 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 peng, the sound of the sword chi exploding out from the sword chi turned the entire place into a complete mess, as the profound core 9th level cultivator's sword light was struck by Ning Qing's axe-intent whirlpool, causing him to immediately give out a stuffy grunt, as he was forced to retreat a few dozen meters away. So strong, this profound core 9th level cultivator originally had some doubts about Ning Qing killing dozens of profound core cultivators, but at this moment he no longer had even the slightest bit of doubt, as he shouted out in a loud voice, everyone, if you do not attack together, then you will let him escape. In fact, he did not even need to shout out, as dozens of profound core and profound congealing cultivators had already brought out their magical weapons to attack Ning Qing. Not only that, even Yan Ji who was behind Ning Qing was also facing the bombardment of countless magical weapons, as such no one cared whether Yan Ji was dead or alive. Poof! A blood arrow shot out, directly splashing onto Ning Qing's neck. Ning Qing immediately knew that Yan Ji had been hit by the blade lights, and was injured. A bunch of shameless things. Ning Qing flew into a rage, as he no longer had the thought of rushing past them. The true cosmic devil axe swept out, as he blasted out a tearing axe intent killing trace, causing countless cracks in the axe light to fill up the entire space in just a twinkling of an eye. Dozens of profound congealing cultivators, under this kind of berserk axe line killing intent, did not even have the ability to resist, as they were directly killed. Some of the profound core first-level and second-level cultivators were also seriously injured, some were even killed by Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng's killing intent surged up, as the angry axe's killing trace formed by the true devil axe grew more and more numerous, causing the berserk demonic aura in just a twinkling of an eye to sweep across the entire world. Si Bing, who was not far away from him, was scared witless. He was sure that Ning Cheng was a devil cultivator. Not only was he a devil cultivator, but his cultivation was even more powerful than his own. Fortunately, he did not have any ideas about the other party, otherwise even if he, Si Bing, could survive, he would have to find a place to heal his injuries. But now that Ning Cheng was cooperating with him, as such when Ning Cheng showed his might, he immediately felt relaxed, as the twin symbols in his hands also brought out a black mist. Several early-stage profound core cultivators were directly chopped in half at the waist. Ning Cheng was gradually affected by the true cosmic devil axe's tyrannical axe intent, as the angry axe killing intent blasted out even more. He completely did not care about whether his true essence was about to dry up or not. Poof! A blood-red arrow shadow tore through Ning Cheng's tyrannical angry axe line, as it directly shot towards Ning Cheng's chest. The stinging pain caused Ning Cheng to sober up in a flash, as he subconsciously shivered, only then did he discover that his body was riddled with scars. Although he had killed a lot of cultivators, but the injuries he received were also not light. If it went on like this, then even if he did not turn into a devil, he would definitely die from exhaustion. Although he had killed a lot of cultivators, but most of them were profound congealing cultivators or early-stage profound core cultivators, as for the real experts, he simply did not manage to kill many of them. He has already turned into a devil, as long as we seal him up, then let him die from exhaustion, that would be enough. Xiang's arm had already disappeared. At this time he was fiercely glaring at Ning Cheng, his eyes were filled with flames of anger. Hurry up and go. Ning Cheng thought until here, without saying anything further, the true cosmic devil axe once again swept out with innumerable crisscrossing axe traces. The dense axe traces filled with killing intent forced the cultivators in front of him to retreat, as he vigorously stimulated his twin heavenly cloud wings, and instantly rushed into the grand array in front of him. Si Bing on seeing Ning Cheng rush into the grand array, twisted his body a few times, and silently entered the grand array. He had a part of the array flags on Ning Cheng's body. If Ning Cheng could not enter the grand array, then it would not make any sense for him to go in alone. Elder brother Cheng, hurry up and break the array. Si Bing's voice had just fallen, when the grand array instantly changed, from a defensive entrapment array, it turned into a killing array. Endless killing lights shot out from the grand array. Si Bing quickly brought out his own defensive magical weapon, wanting to block these endless killing lights. But Ning Cheng simply ignored Si Bing. With a wave of his hands, countless array flags were thrown out by him. In just a short time, the endless killing lights coming from the grand array weakened, and then the dim grand array also started to become clear. Ning Cheng once again threw out several array flags, causing a narrow passage to appear in front of him and Si Bing. Si Bing was ecstatic in his heart. He simply could not believe it as he looked at Ning Cheng and spoke, I did not expect elder brother Cheng to be an expert in the Tao of arrays. I really am just showing off my slight skill in front of an expert. Let's go. Ning Cheng was the first to rush into the narrow passage. He knew that his consumption was not light. If he ended up being trapped again, then it would really be difficult for him to escape. Si Bing could see that Ning Cheng was not only seriously injured, but also had consumed a lot of his true essence. With this kind of consumption, if it was him, he would have immediately looked for a place to go into seclusion to restore his essence chi. Ning Cheng quickly rushed out of the array formation, and in front of him appeared a black hole. The words Law's Way entrance were written in front of the hole. He simply did not have time to think about it, as Ning Cheng had already rushed in. A few dozen steps later, an incomparably powerful force exploded in Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness. Ning Cheng was almost blown away by this kind of force. He staggered a bit, but then saw Si Bing slowly walking towards him from behind, although he was in a hurry, but he was much calmer. Chapter 228. Ning Cheng had always been vigilant towards Si Bing. At this time he was seriously injured. Moreover, he was also carrying a person. If Si Bing were to make a move, then it would be the best time. "I'm slightly injured. You can leave first." Ning Cheng stopped. This passage leading to the third segment of the law's way, he estimated that it was the place where one could truly comprehend the laws. He was not in a hurry to rush over. Moreover, he might not be able to rush over quickly. Si Bing stopped. He looked at Ning Cheng for a while, before he calmly spoke. "Elder brother Cheng, although this is the first time that I am walking through this law's way, but I want to tell you one thing. That is, from the ancient times until now, those who were able to pass through the law's way, were all people who had an astonishing comprehension ability, and were people with excellent qualifications. Moreover, I also know a secret, that is, in the law's way, no matter how powerful a genius is, they would not be able to bring a person through the law's way. If you dare to do so, there will only be one ending." After Si Bing finished, he looked at Yan Ji with a meaningful look in his eyes, before he cupped his fists towards Ning Cheng, and once again slowly walked into the depths of the law's way, and soon disappeared from Ning Cheng's line of sight. Ning Cheng had thought that Si Bing would make his move, but he did not expect that this person would not make his move. Not only did he not make a move, he even kindly reminded him. However, even if he had to fight, Ning Cheng was not afraid of him. Even if he did not fight, he could use the puppet to kill Si Bing. Ning Cheng did not care about this Si Bing anymore, as he sat down and began to heal himself. Just a moment ago, a formidable force had bombarded his sea of consciousness, which had almost thrown him out, which made him realize that the entrance to the law's way was not simple at all. One day later, Ning Cheng stood up. The one that caused him the greatest injury was the red arrow that pierced his chest. After a day, although the injury had not completely healed, it was no longer a problem. Then he found an indistinct spiritual consciousness tag on Yan Ji's neck. After removing the spiritual consciousness tag, Ning Cheng directly sent Yan Ji and Grey Toot Toot into his miniature world. Letting Yan Ji take a trip through the law's way, that would be the best outcome. However, Ning Cheng knew that this was simply unrealistic. Yan Ji was muddle-headed. It was impossible for her to walk through the law's way alone. Yan Ji could not pass through the law's way alone, and it was also meaningless to carry her on his back. It would be better to let her enter the miniature world. With the experience of his sea of consciousness being blasted apart for the first time, Ning Cheng was even more careful as he walked. This passageway had a dim glow and an extremely obscure Dao aura. Every step he took was extremely difficult, as if he was wading through a quagmire. Not only that, Ning Cheng also had a feeling that there was a spacious and clean road at the edge of this quagmire. As long as he stepped onto this road, he would not need to trudge through this quagmire. Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness was clear and bright, with the mysterious yellow origin revolving around his Zifu. He knew what was going on. Once he dared to step onto the side of the clean road, he would immediately be pushed out of the law's way, or be strangled to death on this law's way. Although the road in front of him was getting more and more difficult to walk on, Ning Cheng was getting more and more accustomed to it. He even quickened his pace. Not knowing for how long he walked, another obscure aura blasted into Ning Cheng's mind, causing Ning Cheng to suddenly stop. Only two words kept spinning and shaking in his mind: Heavenly Tao. What was the heavenly law? Ning Cheng suddenly felt confused. Ever since he came here, he had been wholeheartedly cultivating. Actually, his main purpose was to return to Earth. But now that he was asked what the heavenly Tao was, he unexpectedly could not answer it. Just as Ning Cheng fell into confusion, an extremely terrifying force blasted into Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness. Ning Cheng felt his whole body tremble, the next moment he unexpectedly flew out upside down. The mysterious yellow origin blocked this explosive force, causing Ning Qing to sober up at this moment. He absolutely could not retreat. The heavenly Tao, take away the surplus and make up for the deficiency. Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness inexplicably came up with such a sentence. He had heard this sentence before, moreover he also understood the meaning of this sentence. He had just come up with this idea, when the mysterious yellow origin aura that was revolving around the edges of the Zifu suddenly dissipated. His sea of consciousness suddenly expanded, while his core lake also instantly expanded and became even thicker. Just like that, make up for the deficiency. Ning Qing felt that his core lake had once again expanded, while the true essence in his core lake was becoming increasingly small. He did not know whether this was a good thing or a bad thing. If this went on, then his cultivation would not rise, but would instead fall. However, in any case, the enhancement of his sea of consciousness was ultimately a good thing. With the expansion of his sea of consciousness, and the strengthening of his core lake, the quagmire feeling under Ning Cheng's feet suddenly disappeared, and in front of him was still an ordinary dark passage. Ning Cheng sighed. This Law's way really was a bit strange. With a few more experiences, his speed was even faster. Ka, a soft sound came from under his feet. Ning Cheng discovered that there were unexpectedly many bones here. The more he went forward, the more bones he saw. Ning Cheng once again became careful. It seems that he would not be able to pass through this place. It was not necessarily that he would be pushed out, there was also a possibility that he would be directly killed. What made Ning Cheng puzzled was, after experiencing this feeling, there did not seem to be any obstacles in front of him. It was as if he was walking on an ordinary road. If this continued, then he would soon be able to pass through this Law's way. Destiny. Ning Cheng did not have time to rejoice, when another voice appeared in his sea of consciousness. Ning Cheng stopped. With his previous experience, he thought that he knew what to do. As long as he could find his own understanding of destiny, then he could once again move forward. At this moment, Ning Cheng felt his body involuntarily being swept away by a spatial force, and he once again returned to his childhood. He played in a small mountain village, went to school in the town, and went to Jiangzhou. It was so real that when he and Tian Muan ate together, he could even smell the fragrance of Tian Muan beside him. But soon, Tian Muan threw away the pearl hair clip that he had given her, and swaggered away with other people. He ended up drifting to the Chongqing province. These were all his experiences, and he went through them again without missing a single detail. In the graceful star mainland, he desperately cultivated in order to tear through the interface as soon as possible. Qi gathering, true condensation, essence building, profound congealing. Ning Cheng saw that his cultivation had reached the great circle of the profound core realm. His core lake was finally filled to the brim, allowing him to advance to the soul essence realm at any time. Boom, boom, boom. Boundless thunder fell and tore him into pieces. He didn't even survive the first wave of the thunder tribulation before he disappeared without a trace. Is this my fate? Ning Cheng muttered to himself, as he was completely immersed in the sadness of not even leaving behind a corpse. His fate was to be destroyed by the thunder tribulation in a few years. No, this is just my imagination, it is absolutely just my imagination. Ning Cheng forcibly sobered himself up. After he sobered up, the scene in front of him once again reverted to its original appearance. It was still a dark passage. Ning Cheng did not immediately move forward. He had already forgotten almost 99% of the things that were in his imagination. The only thing that was clear was the scene of the terrifying lightning arcs falling down, and the scene of him struggling in the middle of the lightning arcs. In the end, was this real or fake? Ning Cheng had just thought of this, when a flame suddenly rose up from the depths of his dantian. This flame seemed to want to burn him from the inside out. The terrible pain almost made Ning Cheng bring out the true cosmic devil axe, and use it to chop down his dantian. Cultivation deviation. Ning Cheng instantly understood what was going on. This was definitely because his mind was affected, causing him to be filled with fear towards the future, which caused him to enter the cultivation deviation. Moreover, This cultivation deviation, he guessed that it was also related to him using the true cosmic devil axe. Even if the thunder tribulation came, I would not necessarily be killed. Even if I was killed, it would still be a matter for the future. But now, the mysterious yellow origin, suppress it. Ning Qing instantly put aside the scene that had appeared in his mind a moment ago. As for the future, he would think about it later. For now, he had to pass through this law's way first. The mysterious yellow bead exuded an inexhaustible amount of origin power, which completely extinguished the internal fire that had just been ignited. The surroundings once again regained its tranquility and tranquility. Ning Qing gave a sigh, and continued to move forward. 3 days, 4 days. After the 10th day passed, Ning Qing suddenly stopped. In these 10 days, he had felt a variety of thoughts, as well as cultivation laws. However, in addition to the first time that he had comprehended the heavenly Tao, which allowed his sea of consciousness to increase in size and his core lake to increase in size, as for the other things, Ning Qing felt that they did not have much effect on him. His mysterious yellow bead, for him, was already an extremely perfect cultivation method, so why would he need to improve his own cultivation in the law's way? Although this law's way was very important to others, but for him, it was nothing much. Ning Qing had just thought of this, when he felt his entire body lighten. The next moment the dim law's way in front of him disappeared without a trace, and he appeared at the foot of a blue mountain. Ning Qing could immediately feel the richer spiritual qi and the more suitable heaven and earth for cultivation. No matter who it was, they would know that he had finally come out of the law's way. But Ning Qing stood in the same place, as his complexion fluctuated, and even turned somewhat ugly. He once again vaguely remembered the scene that he had faded in the past. When he entered the third segment of the law's way, there were only two kinds of people. One was to slowly walk through the passage, and arrive at the third segment. The other was to comprehend the path that belonged to them, and then suddenly be transmitted out of it. Previously, in his imagination, he was precisely the second kind of person. In other words, his imagination was true, and in the future, would he really fall under the thunder tribulation? Ning Qing thought about it alone for a long time, before he slowly breathed out a sigh of relief. Whether it was true or not, with the current size of his core lake, wanting to cultivate to the profound core realm, he estimated that it would be something that would take an indefinite amount of time. If one day he was able to find the heavenly cusp flower and the geocentric 9-ene essence, then he would come back and trade with that skeleton to see if he could return to Earth. Throwing this burden to the side, Ning Qing felt that his whole body suddenly became light. It was as if a huge pressure had suddenly disappeared, and his mind also became clear. Ning Qing was just about to send Yen Ji and Grey Toot Toot out, when a violent explosion of true essence arrived. This was a fight between two cultivators. Ning Qing did not even wait for him to use his spiritual consciousness to investigate, when two figures had already arrived not too far away from him. Ning Qing did not step aside, although he only had the cultivation of profound congealing 7th level, but in this place, he really did not fear anyone. But when Ning Qing was able to clearly see the cultivation of these two cultivators, his heart immediately jumped, and his first thought was to run as far away as he could. Chapter 229. It turned out to be a fight between two soul essence cultivators. Although Ning Qing was not afraid of profound core cultivators, but in the face of a soul essence cultivator, he knew that he was definitely not their opponent. Soul essence cultivators could not enter the law's way, but since there were two soul essence cultivators here, then they must have advanced inside the law's way. However, Ning Qing immediately curbed his own thoughts, as he quickly concealed himself. In fact, he himself did not know whether he was discovered or not. The two soul essence cultivators did not seem to care about Ning Qing's existence at all. As they fought even more fiercely, the true essence and magical weapons exploded in the air, causing Ning Qing to be secretly startled in his heart. The difference between soul essence cultivators and profound core cultivators was absolutely like a chasm between heaven and earth. Soul essence cultivators had to pass through the thunder tribulation. But profound core cultivators were powerful, but they could only rely on their own true essence. Unlike soul essence cultivators, they could not communicate with the surrounding environment to attack the enemy. Ning Cheng was not a rookie in cultivation. He knew that he could fight against a profound core and 9th level cultivator with the cultivation of profound congealing 7th level, but when he was at profound core 7th level, he absolutely would not be able to beat a soul essence 9th level cultivator. Unless, after he reached the profound core realm, there would be a qualitative change. The difference between profound core and profound congealing was that one formed a core lake, while the other condensed a golden core within the core lake. This was not an essential difference, but rather a difference in the intensity and quantity of true essence. But after a soul essence cultivator passed through the thunder tribulation, they would shatter their core and form the embryonic form of their soul essence. This was an essential difference compared to a profound core cultivator. Fortunately, the two soul essence cultivators were fighting with true fire, and soon moved from Ning Cheng's side to a new place. Ning Cheng felt relieved, and immediately wanted to leave this place as soon as possible. He quickly stimulated the twin heavenly cloud wings, and in a blink of an eye left the place where he was just a moment ago, but the next moment, he once again turned back. His spiritual consciousness had swept towards a small lake just before he left, and an extremely clear and pure aura was caught by him. At this moment, he even felt that his perception towards cultivation had become even more profound. Was this the spiritual enhancement true nectar? Ning Cheng had not seen the spiritual enhancement true nectar before, but this feeling, he was certain that it was the spiritual enhancement true nectar. At this time, why would Ning Cheng care about the two soul essence cultivators who had already fled? How could he let go of the spiritual enhancement true nectar? Ning Cheng simply did not think much about it, as he immediately rushed over, and soon he saw a large mountain peak that had been split open. This mountain peak was definitely split apart not too long ago. Ning Cheng immediately thought of the two soul essence cultivators, and immediately realized that this mountain range should have been split apart by those two soul essence cultivators. He really could not figure it out. These two soul essence cultivators had already opened the hidden place of the spiritual enhancement true nectar, so why would they still want to fight to leave this place? However, no matter what, he had to get rid of all the spiritual enhancement true nectar as soon as possible. With so much spiritual enhancement true nectar, he would definitely make a fortune. Leaving behind a monitoring array flag, Ning Cheng arrived at the small lake with his fastest speed. His incomparably excited expression immediately turned to disappointment. This was just a very ordinary mountain lake. No wonder the two soul essence cultivators did not move. The greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. Above this ordinary-looking lake, there was a stone pool with a radius of 3 times. On the stone pool, there was an inverted stalagmite. At the tip of the stalagmite, there was a bit of crystal-clear liquid. Ning Cheng landed next to the stalagmite, and touched the crystal-clear liquid with his hand. An incomparably refreshing feeling emerged, which made Ning Cheng immediately realize that this was the real spiritual enhancement true nectar. The stone pool was already empty. The spiritual enhancement true nectar inside the stone pool should have dripped down from the stalagmite, but at this time it had all been taken away by someone else. At this time, Ning Cheng had completely guessed why the two soul essence cultivators were fighting. These two people were definitely fighting because one of them had taken away all the spiritual enhancement true nectar from the stone pool, while the other person was not convinced, and wanted to snatch it away, causing the two of them to start fighting. As for the small lake below, it was estimated that a part of the spiritual enhancement true nectar had dripped into it, which formed a faint aura of the spiritual enhancement true nectar. Feeling happy for nothing, Ning Cheng looked at the small lake in front of him with some disappointment, as he shook his head. Soon his eyes fell on the empty stone pool. This stone pool had been soaked in the spiritual enhancement true nectar for a long time. It should also be a good thing. When the time came, he would bring this stone pool to Kong Pengpeng. Thinking till here, Ning Cheng directly pulled down the stone pool. A trace of rich spiritual enhancement true nectar aura leaked out. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept out from the place where he had pulled it open, when he saw the spiritual enhancement true nectar aura that was nearly the size of a swimming pool, he almost screamed out loud. Suppressing his pounding heart, Ning Qing knew that he had really made a fortune. At this time, he almost forgot what he was supposed to do, as his heart almost jumped out of his throat. So much spiritual enhancement true nectar aura, once those two soul essence cultivators came to know about it, then once they came back, how could he still have his life? Ning Qing was sure that the spiritual enhancement true nectar that had formed in the stalagmite, and then dripped down, was mostly stored in this big pool. Nature really was mysterious, the real and the fake, the real and the fake. If he did not take away this stone pool, then how could he discover the spiritual enhancement true nectar inside? At this time, Ning Qing no longer cared about anything else, as he punched open the crack, and directly drilled into it. So much spiritual enhancement true nectar aura, how should he take it away? Ning Qing first thought of the miniature world. He immediately called out Yan Ji and Grey Toot Toot from the miniature world. He first wanted to create a pool in the miniature world. As soon as Grey Toot Toot came out, it gave out a squeaky screech, as it immediately jumped into the spiritual enhancement true nectar aura pool. Yan Ji, on seeing Grey Toot Toot jump in, unexpectedly also followed suit and jumped in. Ning Qing was somewhat helpless, and could only seize the time to arrange a simple shielding array formation outside. Ning Qing was preparing to refine a pool in the miniature world to store the spiritual enhancement true nectar aura, when he found that the top of Yan Ji's head was emitting a black qi, while a faint spiritual charm was circulating around her body. Could it be that this spiritual enhancement true nectar aura had other effects when bathing? Ning Qing also jumped into the spiritual enhancement true nectar aura pool. An extremely comfortable and refreshing power washed over him. Ning Qing could clearly feel that after his body was scoured by the spiritual enhancement true nectar aura, it had become even more refreshing. Vaguely, he could feel that his perception ability was rapidly rising, and a trace of black qi was also dispersing from the top of his head. This was a good thing. This thing unexpectedly had such an effect when bathing. Ning Qing did not dare to be greedy and continue to bathe, as he quickly entered the miniature world, and in an instant refined a simple pool, and then sent the entire pool of spiritual enhancement true nectar aura into the miniature world. After you go inside, you are not allowed to go in to bathe again. I still want to exchange this thing for spirit stones. After Ning Qing warned Grey Toot Toot and Yan Ji, he sent the two of them into the miniature world. Ning Qing also wanted to look around to see if there was anything else inside, when he sensed a subtle fluctuation coming from one of the array flags that he was monitoring outside. Someone was coming. Knowing that someone was coming, Ning Qing immediately stimulated the twin heavenly cloud wings, and instantly disappeared from this place. No matter who it was that came, he did not want to see them. Moreover, according to Ning Qing's guess, most of the people who came were the two soul essence cultivators. Sure enough, not long after Ning Qing left, the two soul essence cultivators that he had seen before came back. However, at this time, the two of them did not fight, as if they had reached an agreement. Hey, after we left, someone came here again, and even took away the stone pool. That's not right. The first to come in was a tall and thin man wearing a yellow robe. He had not even finished his words, when he saw the space that Ning Qing had opened up. A huge empty pool appeared in front of the two people. The pool was still wet, but the strong aura of the spiritual enhancement true nectar aura immediately spread out, causing the faces of the two people to immediately turn livid. At this moment, the two people immediately understood what was going on. They had opened up the place where the spiritual enhancement true nectar aura was, but the result was that they had taken only a fraction of it, while the final benefits were taken away by the latecomers. This pool of spiritual enhancement true nectar aura, just how much wealth was it? If a person could exchange it for spirit stones for their cultivation, then perhaps they would not need to worry about cultivation resources for their entire life. 10,000 bitter flower. If it were not for you looking for me to fight, how could you let others take away the benefits in this place? The handsome-looking cultivator behind him spoke while clenching his teeth. His heart was bleeding with regret. The tall and thin man wearing the yellow robe in front of him also knew that it was too late to say anything, as he spoke with hatred in his voice. I remember now, this person should be the profound congealing ant who was hiding on the side when we were fighting. I did not think that this bastard would also play such a role. As long as he is in this third segment, I would be able to find him. Even if he swallowed it, I would still make him spit it out. Saying that, he stared at the other handsome-looking soul essence cultivator and spoke, Pan Yu, do you want to cooperate with me, or do you want to look for your own? Pan Yu coldly spoke, of course we will cooperate. The spiritual enhancement true nectar that we obtain will be equally divided between the two of us. I, Pan Yu, was able to cultivate to the soul essence realm inside the law's way, and it was always me taking advantage of others. No one can take advantage of me, Pan Yu. When I find this ant, I will refine him into my puppet. Chapter 230. In the depths of an ocean-like swamp, Ning Cheng had been hiding in the miniature world for a month. After he escaped into the swamp, he arranged a concealment array formation, and then hid in the miniature world inside his ring. It was better to be safe than sorry. After experiencing so many things, Ning Cheng was gradually changing himself. Regardless of whether there was anyone chasing him or not, he had obtained some good things, and was also being chased. As such it was better to keep a low profile. In his own miniature world, Ning Cheng began to refine some pills, while simultaneously crafting a variety of talismans. The miniature world was managed by him, and he even built a beautiful residence. After using the spiritual enhancement true nectar to wash her body, Yan Ji seemed to be more awake than before. Sometimes she could even sit down and contemplate, and even occasionally absorb the spiritual qi to cultivate. After a few months passed by, Ning Cheng felt that he could now leave this place. If he could find the exit of the law's way, he would not have wanted to stay in this place. Entering the law's way, he had already achieved his purpose. Continuing to stay in this place would only be a waste of time. Initially, Ning Cheng had intended to hand Yan Ji over to her fellow disciples, but when he had rushed through the array, those cultivators had also mercilessly attacked Yan Ji. At this time Ning Cheng no longer had such an intention. In the face of benefits, even if it was Yan Ji's fellow disciples, he estimated that no one would care about her life or death. Fortunately, he now had a miniature world inside his ring. When he went out, he would also be able to bring Yan Ji out. Ning Cheng changed his attire and changed his appearance to that of a pale-faced male cultivator who was indulging in debauchery. After feeling that there was no problem with his attire, Ning Cheng rushed out of the swamp. What is this place? Ning Cheng immediately felt that something was wrong when he came out. The place where he was now, was not the place where he had entered the swamp. When he had first entered the swamp, he was afraid that he would not be able to find the way out, and deliberately went in from the edge. But this place was an endless swamp. Where was the edge? Yes, it should be the swamp that was flowing, bringing him here. Ning Cheng was just about to stimulate the twin heavenly cloud wings, and leave this swamp, when suddenly his spiritual consciousness detected two figures rushing towards him. Ning Cheng's heart tightened, and immediately stopped his own thoughts of escaping. He knew that these cultivators definitely had a higher cultivation than him. If they were soul essence cultivators, then even if he wanted to escape, it would only be courting death. A moment later, two cultivators arrived in front of Ning Cheng. One of them was a handsome male cultivator at the great circle of the profound core realm. His face was now the same as Ning Cheng's, a bit pale. However, his paleness seemed to be different from Ning Cheng's. Ning Cheng had changed his appearance into that of an overindulgent male cultivator. As for this pale-faced male cultivator, it seemed like he was cultivating some kind of cultivation technique that caused this situation. The other was a female cultivator with a perfect figure that didn't lose out to Yan Ji and Nalan Rushua. Her black hair was coiled into a simple bun for a female cultivator, with a hairpin on her head that gave off a faint glow. Her pale red lips formed an arc, while her eyebrows were slightly wrinkled. It seemed that she did not like Ning Cheng's appearance. However, there was a trace of killing intent in the corner of her eyes, which formed a complete contrast with her beautiful appearance. But this female cultivator's cultivation was also much higher than Ning Cheng's, profound core 8th level. Who are you? Why are you in the depths of the Thunder Domain Marsh? The one who asked was this female cultivator. Since they were two profound core cultivators, Ning Cheng was not afraid of them. He also did not want to fight, as such he cupped his fists and spoke, I got lost because I was looking for the exit of the Law's Way, may I ask, where is the exit of the Law's Way? Are you looking for the exit of the Law's Way? The female cultivator asked Ning Cheng in disbelief. But the male cultivator actually laughed, as if he thought that Ning Cheng was an idiot. The female cultivator who originally did not like Ning Cheng, on hearing Ning Cheng's words, the corners of her mouth rose up slightly, it was obvious that she found it funny. She did not laugh like the male cultivator, but spoke in a light voice, you don't even seem to have reached the Golden Core realm, how can you get out? If you want to get out, then you must be at least at the Golden Core realm. This was the first time that Ning Cheng had heard such a statement. The female cultivator spoke indifferently, of course not, your time in the Law's Way should be very short, as such you do not understand it, but you will understand it later. Let me ask you something, you are in this marsh, are you not struck by lightning? You are just a profound congealing cultivator, how can you stay in this place? Lightning strike. Ning Cheng shook his head in a daze, after he came to this marsh, he had been hiding under the marsh, how could he be struck by lightning? The female cultivator was just about to speak again, when a sudden explosion sounded out, followed by dozens of blue-colored lightning arcs falling down, almost completely enveloping the area where the three of them were standing. When Ning Cheng spoke to the man and woman, he was already on guard against them. At the same time as the explosion sounded out, he immediately brought out his profound break spear, while simultaneously sprinkling out an profound ice spear shadow. Pa 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 pa. The profound ice spear shadow instantly formed a spear net, as it collided with the countless lightning arcs that were falling down, causing the sound of explosions to ring out incessantly. Catcha, although Ning Cheng's profound ice spear net was powerful, but he had never had the experience of resisting lightning arcs, as such these dense lightning arcs unexpectedly tore apart Ning Cheng's spear net, before exploding onto Ning Cheng's body. Puff puff. Several blood splashed out, as Ning Cheng's body was suddenly torn apart by these tiny lightning arcs, to the point that even his bones were exposed. The true essence within his body was also torn apart by these lightning arcs, and even showed signs of dispersing. Ning Cheng quickly swallowed several pills, as he gathered up his true essence, while simultaneously preparing for the next wave of these dense lightning arcs to fall down. But this wave of lightning arcs came quickly, and also left quickly, as such the next wave of lightning arcs did not descend. Ning Cheng heaved a sigh, but his heart was filled with incomparable haze. Hey, you can actually block the bombardment of the lightning arcs from the depths of the Thunder Domain? That handsome-looking male cultivator with a pale face stared at Ning Cheng in amazement. This kind of lightning arcs bombardment could already be considered as powerful, but Ning Cheng had only suffered a minor injury. Even that female cultivator was looking at Ning Cheng in shock, a profound congealing cultivator, in the absence of a defensive magical weapon, would absolutely not be able to block this kind of lightning strike. Moreover, they had seen with their own eyes that Ning Cheng did not even have a defensive magical weapon, and was only relying on a set of spear techniques to block this kind of intensive lightning strike. Ning Cheng also saw that the two of them had a round shield over their heads, as such the two golden core cultivators did not receive even half a shred of damage from the lightning strike a moment ago. Ning Cheng knew that these two people were definitely prepared for this, as such he did not want to continue to stay in this place and be struck by lightning, as such he cupped his fists towards the two people and spoke, "Goodbye." But in his heart, he did not feel even half a shred of joy from escaping the lightning strike. The lightning strike a moment ago was so small that it was only the thickness of a noodle, moreover it only lasted for a moment before it disappeared. Even with this kind of small and short lightning strike, it was enough to kill him. Thinking back to the scene of himself crossing the tribulation inside the Law's Way, the first wave of the thunder tribulation was countless times denser than the one before, moreover even the thinnest lightning arc was thicker than a thumb. With the continuous descent of the thunder tribulation arcs, it would have been a strange thing for him to survive. Wait a minute, aren't you looking for the exit of the law's way? In fact you have not cultivated to the golden core realm, moreover you have not entered the law's way for more than 10 years, as such you would not be able to sense the exit of the law's way. Let's go to the Thunder Domain City now, in order to prepare for crossing the Thunder Tribulation in the future. I think you are very good, why don't we team up and go to the Thunder Domain City together? That pale-faced male cultivator called out to Ning Cheng who was about to leave, and spoke in an extremely amiable tone. Ning Cheng had not even finished his words, and wanted to interrupt the other party's words, but when he heard the last words of this male cultivator, in order to prepare for crossing the Thunder Tribulation, he was immediately tempted. He had seen his own fate in the law's way, and knew that in the future he would be killed by the Thunder Tribulation. If he could prepare for crossing the tribulation, then wouldn't he be able to escape this terrible fate? Seeing Ning Cheng hesitate, this male cultivator once again laughed and spoke, I am called Lu Fei, and she is called Chai Chu Dai. We are about to come out of the law's way, but at the same time we also have to prepare for crossing the Soul Essence Thunder Tribulation. If you want to come out of the law's way ahead of time, then you can come out together with us. With your qualifications, presumably it would not be long before you would also be able to cross the tribulation and advance to the Soul Essence realm. The experience of the Thunder Domain City is not something that you can encounter in any place, moreover in the Thunder Domain City, there are also a variety of treasures. If you are lucky, maybe you can even obtain some thunder-attributed treasures, to prepare for crossing the tribulation in the future. Ning Cheng in his heart had already decided to go to the Thunder Domain City to have a look, but he did not understand why this Lu Fei called him along. I only have the cultivation of profound congealing realm, I'm afraid that I will not be able to help you. Ning Cheng waited for Lu Fei to finish speaking, and then spoke in a slow voice. Lu Fei laughed and spoke, the fact is that we are helping each other, in the Thunder Domain City, we are not too far away from each other to gain experience. Once we encounter a place in the Thunder Domain City where the lightning arcs are concentrated, then we will join forces, and jointly resist it. The lightning arcs in the Thunder Domain City and the Thunder Tribulation are different, and will not increase in intensity because of the number of people. Ning Cheng estimated that this Lu Fei would not be so kind-hearted. When he heard Lu Fei's words, he knew that he really wanted to go to the Thunder Domain City to have a look. Thinking until here, Ning Cheng spoke, good, then I will go with the two of you to have a look. I do not know how to address this friend. Lu Fei on hearing Ning Cheng say that he was willing to go, immediately became even more enthusiastic in his tone. I am called Sikong Kai, and am a rogue cultivator. Being able to enter the law's way, is also because of the help of others. Ning Cheng spoke with a smile. Chai Chu Dai glanced at Ning Cheng, and suddenly sent a sound transmission to Lu Fei, Senior Apprentice Brother Lu, this Sikong Kai is very strange, with just a glance I can tell that he is a nefarious cultivator, why do you want him to come with us? Lu Fei gave a smile, and replied with a sound transmission, with just a glance I can tell that this person is the kind of person who indulges in debauchery, although he did not look at you much, but it is obvious that it is because of you that he is willing to come with us to the Thunder Domain City. Since he is a nefarious cultivator, and we want to refine the Thunder Domain City, then let him be the sacrifice of the Thunder Domain City. It can also be considered as getting rid of a scourge for the female cultivators. Then what if he is not a nefarious cultivator? Chai Chu Dai frowned as she sent a sound transmission back. Lu Fei sneered, this person is definitely a nefarious cultivator without a doubt, even if he is not a nefarious cultivator, presumably he is also not a good person. Junior Apprentice Sister Chu Dai must not be soft-hearted, otherwise I do not know how many female cultivators would be harmed by him. Moreover, did Junior Apprentice Sister see the ice spear net that he displayed a moment ago? That is definitely a profound grade spear technique. This kind of spear technique is just suitable for me to use. Ning Cheng suddenly showed a brilliant smile and spoke, Elder Brother Lu, please lead the way, this is the first time that I am going to the Thunder Domain City, moreover my cultivation is also very low, so I ask the two of you to take care of me. Chapter 231. That's for sure, since we are going to gain experience together, of course we will take care of each other. Moreover, I also have some understanding of the Thunder Domain City. In the Thunder Domain City, if you encounter a cyan-colored lightning pillar you must turn left, if you encounter a white-colored lightning pillar you must turn right. As long as you turn around, there are no lightning strikes in these places, and you can rest and restore your essence chi. Otherwise, even if you have formidable skills, you would still be turned to ashes by the lightning arcs of the Thunder Domain City. That would not be gaining experience, but would be throwing away your life. Lu Fei spoke with a smile. Ning Qing also smiled, expressing his satisfaction. A moment ago when Lu Fei and Chai Chudai spoke, he had already caught the fluctuations, although he did not know the content, but he could guess that Lu Fei did not have good intentions. Not only did he bring him to the Thunder Domain City to gain experience, but he also told him the secrets of the Thunder Domain City. Lu Fei and Chai Chudai did not ask about Ning Cheng's origins. Ning Cheng certainly would not ask about their origins, everyone was just using each other. Ning Cheng did not know what Lu Fei and Chai Chudai wanted to use him for, but he certainly wanted to use Lu Fei and Chai Chudai to enter the Thunder Domain City. Otherwise, he would not even know where the Thunder Domain City was. Why are the two of you not using flight-type magical weapons? Ning Qing saw Lu Fei and Chai Chudai like him, standing on a spiritual artifact, and asked in a somewhat strange manner. He did not use a flight-type magical weapon, because if these two people were not here, he would have already used the twin heavenly cloud wings to escape. Since it is an experience, then of course we must go through the baptism of the thunder tribulation. Besides, the value of a high-level flight-type magical weapon is not low. In this kind of place, in case it gets damaged, then it would be a loss. Lu Fei, after Ning Qing joined in, spoke with even more enthusiasm. While speaking, the sky above the swamp was once again filled with bursts of thunder. Ning Qing had already experienced it once, so he once again brought out his profound break spear. This time Ning Qing did not shoot out 36 spear shadows at once. Dealing with this kind of lightning strike was different from dealing with cultivators. This kind of lightning strike would not change according to your strength, only at the most appropriate time, would the spear shadows be able to block the lightning strike. This time the lightning strike was even more concentrated than the previous one, but the difference was that Ning Cheng's profound ice spear shadows perfectly blocked the lightning strike, not letting even a single one of them to hit his body. At the same time, Ning Cheng also saw the method that Lu Fei and Chai Chudai used to deal with the lightning strikes. The two people's round shields were extremely powerful, and after they were stimulated, they immediately transformed into a huge umbrella. All the lightning arcs landed on the round shield, not harming the two of them at all. At most, they would only need to consume some of their true essence. Ning Qing immediately had the idea of obtaining a defensive magical weapon for himself. He also had a lot of low-leveled defensive magical weapons inside his ring, but these magical weapons did not even enter Ning Cheng's eyes. Previously in the spiritual treasure house, he had taken a fancy to a heaven and earth cauldron. Unfortunately, it was forcefully bought by that demon, causing him to not obtain anything. Oh! Seeing that Ning Cheng was not even half a bit injured this time, Chai Chudai gave out a surprised cry. Wasn't this improvement a little too great? Elder Brother Sikong truly has great ability. With Elder Brother Sikong's progress, if you go to the Thunder Domain City to gain some experience, then in the future crossing the Soul Essence Thunder Tribulation would not be a problem at all. Furthermore, Brother Sikong's spear is also extraordinary. It is almost comparable to a high-grade spirit artifact. To be able to obtain this kind of spear, and to be able to display this kind of spear technique, presumably Elder Brother Sikong's luck is not small. Lu Fei's eyes flashed, as he loudly praised him. Ning Qing knew that Lu Fei did not want to ask about his spear, but rather wanted to know about his 36 profound ice spear technique. He was not in the mood to be hypocritical with Lu Fei, as he carried the profound break spear on his back and spoke, "This spear is just an ordinary medium-grade spiritual artifact that I bought from a magical weapon house. It is far from being comparable to Elder Brother Lu's shield-type magical weapon." "I think, how far away is the Thunder Domain City? Should we speed up a bit?" "No, there are only a few hours left before we arrive." Lu Fei spoke without any care. Afterwards, Lu Fei unceasingly tried to find out where Ning Cheng had obtained his profound ice spear technique, but Ning Cheng pretended not to know anything about it. Lu Fei was not only interested in Ning Cheng's profound ice spear technique, but he was even interested in the healing pills that Ning Cheng used. For Ning Cheng, who was just a profound congealing cultivator, to have such high-quality healing pills, as well as such a powerful profound ice spear technique. Lu Fei was almost certain that Ning Cheng had obtained the inheritance of a powerful cultivator. As the three people walked to the back of the swamp, the lightning strikes were getting more and more concentrated. Ning Cheng did not have the time to talk to Lu Fei, as he put all of his energy into dealing with these lightning strikes. Because the density of the lightning strikes was getting higher and higher, Ning Cheng once again began to suffer injuries, but as the range of Ning Cheng's profound ice spear shadows grew larger and larger, his injuries were once again getting less and less. Because there were simply too many lightning arcs falling from the sky above the swamp, Lu Fei and Chai Chudai were unable to continue to observe Ning Cheng's situation. As the three people continued to resist the lightning strikes from the dense lightning arcs, they slowly went deeper into the depths of the Thunder Domain swamp. Crackle, Kacha. Bursts of dense lightning crackling sounds could be heard. Lu Fei and Chai Chudai stopped, Ning Cheng also stopped, as in front of him appeared a city overflowing with lightning. Countless lightning bolts were shooting out from all around the city, while at the same time there were also countless lightning bolts falling from the sky above the swamp, as they struck the center of this lightning city. Perhaps it was because this city had been surrounded by lightning bolts for a long time, as such it had already taken on the same color as the lightning bolts. Boom, Kacha, bursts of violent lightning bolts were constantly erupting from the center of this city. Was this the Thunder Domain City? Ning Cheng was amazed in his heart. The lightning arcs that were shooting out from the edge of the Thunder Domain City, some of them were even thicker than chopsticks. Once he entered this Thunder Domain City, under the bombardment of this kind of dense lightning arcs, how could he still be alive? Moreover, the lightning arcs were densely packed, and were even denser than the ones in the Thunder Domain swamp. Once he entered, he would not even have the chance to breathe. This Lu Fei had said that there were some places in the Thunder Domain City that did not have lightning arcs. He did not know if it was true or false. If it was false, then going in would truly be courting death. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness simultaneously fell on the entrance of the Thunder Domain City. He could see that there were countless bones that had been blasted into pieces, but these pieces of bones were still clearly the bones of cultivators, and not the monstrous beasts here. Inside the Thunder Domain City, one's spiritual consciousness simply could not sweep in. In addition to the flashes of lightning arcs, there was only the sound of thunder. What a terrifying Thunder Domain City! Chai Chudai subconsciously muttered to herself. From the look on her face, one could see that she was somewhat timid. Lu Fei's complexion turned even paler. It was obvious that he did not think that the Thunder Domain City would be this terrifying. He suddenly thought of Ning Cheng, this kind of terrifying Thunder Domain City. He estimated that this Sikong Kai would absolutely not go in. If Sikong Kai wanted to leave, then he must first get rid of the opposite party, and obtain the profound grade spear technique. Ning Cheng was also shocked in his heart, but he quickly calmed down. This Lu Fei at least spoke a few words correctly. If he was not inside this law's way, wanting to go out and find a place like the Thunder Domain City to gain experience, it was obviously impossible. Since he had come here, then he had to go in. If he did not go through this thunder tribulation to gain experience, then in the future when he crossed the tribulation to advance to the Soul Essence realm, he would also die. With such an opportunity, why would he not give it a try? If there was really no way to save his small life, then as a last resort, he would crush the talisman that the skeleton at the bottom of the Blood River Mountains had given him. At worst he would have to go back to that place again. That skeleton should not be able to come out and kill him, right? If that skeleton had such an ability, then he would have already gone out. Why would he even need his help? As for Yen Ji in the miniature world, if he died, then she could only resign herself to her fate. Thinking till here, Ning Qing did not hesitate to rush towards the Thunder Domain City. He did not even have the mood to say hello to Lu Fei. Along the way he talked nonsense with Lu Fei, just to make the other party bring him to the Thunder Domain City. Since he had already arrived at the Thunder Domain City, then there was no need for him to be hypocritical. Lu Fei and Chai Chudai, this kind of people, were not his friends, and it was impossible for them to become his friends. Is this guy not afraid of death? Chai Chudai, on seeing Ning Qing unexpectedly rush towards the Thunder Domain City, asked in a somewhat incredulous manner. Interesting. Lu Fei also gave a smile. Junior apprentice sister Chudai, let's also go in. Although this Thunder Domain City is terrifying, but we are different from others. We have the array diagram to refine the Thunder Domain City. As long as we find the central hub, we can then work together to refine this Thunder City. Chai Chudai hesitated for a moment and said, there is only one Thunder Domain City. The array diagram to refine the Thunder Domain City is something that we obtain together. After refining this Thunder Domain City, will you really give it to me to control? Lu Fei suddenly spoke in a stern manner. Junior apprentice sister Chudai, there are countless Thunder Flame stones in the Thunder Domain City. The total value of these stones is not lower than the value of the Thunder Domain City. Moreover, in the Thunder Domain City, there is also a sub-city. This sub-city together with the Thunder Flame stones, its value is even higher than the Thunder Domain City. For me to be able to obtain these stones, is already a lot. Speaking till here, Lu Fei's tone suddenly became incomparably gentle. Besides, junior apprentice sister Chudai, my feelings towards you, don't tell me you still do not understand. Not to mention giving me these, even if you do not give me anything, as long as I can help junior apprentice sister, I will also be willing. Chai Chudi's face turned slightly red and said, Senior apprentice brother Lu, I am wholeheartedly cultivating, as such there is no need to say anything about other things. Now that Sikong Kai has already gone in, how about we also go in? Good, you be careful and follow behind me. After Lu Fei responded, he took the lead and rushed forward. The way he addressed Chai Chudai, once again rose to another level. Ning Qing had already arrived at the edge of the Thunder Domain City. Only then did he discover that the entrance to the Thunder Domain City was completely covered with a dense thunder net. Moreover, the lightning arcs that formed this thunder net were at least as thick as a chopstick. How could he go in? Ning Qing hesitated for 2 breaths of time, when several chopstick-thick lightning arcs fell down. Ning Qing no longer had the time to think, as he immediately blasted out with his profound ice spear shadows. The profound ice spear shadows and the lightning arcs exploded, as Ning Qing once again rolled up a mass of profound ice spear shadows to protect himself, as he rushed towards the entrance of the Thunder City that was densely covered with the thunder net. Since he had already arrived here, what was the point of thinking about it? In any case, the outside of the city was densely packed with lightning arcs, as such he might as well enter the city. Perhaps after entering the city, it would really be like what Lu Fei had said, that he could find a safe place to hide. Chapter 232. Ning Cheng's profound ice spear shadows were just like papier-mâché, and in just a twinkling of an eye, they were immediately blasted into nothingness by the lightning arcs that shot out from the entrance of the Thunder Domain City. As the berserk lightning arcs came crashing down, Ning Cheng's idea of not using the cosmic True Devil Axe had already disappeared without a trace. The cosmic True Devil Axe had already rolled up an axe line, as it wrapped around him to protect him. Boom boom boom, the axe line driven by the cosmic True Devil Axe and the thunder net at the entrance of the Thunder Domain City immediately clashed together, causing a violent and terrifying explosion sound to ring out. Bang! The true cosmic Devil Axe's axe line blocked the endless thunder net, while at the same time Ning Cheng was directly blown away by the formidable power of the thunder net, causing him to violently spit out a mouthful of blood, before he crashed into a blue-colored stone pillar. The stone pillar seemed to contain a terrifying thunder source, causing Ning Cheng to subconsciously step aside. He guessed that this should be the cyan lightning pillar that Lu Fei had mentioned. However, he did not believe Lu Fei, nor did he intend to turn left as Lu Fei had suggested. The surroundings of the thunder pillar did not seem to have any more thunder lights falling down. Ning Cheng did not have the time to check on his injuries, when an ancient and vast aura filled Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness. This kind of powerful aura almost made Ning Cheng find it hard to breathe. Ning Cheng forcibly suppressed this oppressive feeling, took a deep breath, and began to look at the sky above the Thunder City. The entire sky above the Thunder Domain City was filled with flashes of blue and misty lightning. It was as if countless lightning snakes were moving about, as if they could fall down at any time and place. The true cosmic devil axe seemed to bring out a tyrannical aura that was even more inciting the flow of this aura, causing these thunder snakes to become even more unstable, causing Ning Cheng to quickly put away the true cosmic devil axe. Only now did he realize how terrible his injuries were. He had only passed through the lightning net gate, but his body had been blasted to pieces like a rag. Although with the help of the mysterious yellow origin, his wounds were no longer bleeding, but his whole body was covered with blood, and his clothes and skin were hanging off his body. It was a horrible sight to behold. His shoulder and back had been struck by the lightning, revealing his bones. In other words, without the mysterious yellow origin, he might have already died. Such a terrifying thunder net, Ning Cheng couldn't help but shiver in his heart. This lightning net only lasted for an instant, and its strength was far inferior to the lightning tribulation in his memory. If not for this law's way, even if he cultivated to the great circle of the profound core realm, when he crossed the tribulation, wouldn't he not even be able to leave behind ashes? Here, he at least had time to catch his breath. The mysterious yellow origin aura immediately repaired Ning Cheng's body at its fastest speed. Ning Cheng was just about to take out a piece of clothing to change into, when 7 or 8 lightning arcs that were thicker than chopsticks fell down. How could Ning Cheng think that in this seemingly safe place, there would be lightning arcs that would suddenly fall down? He was barely able to bring out his profound break spear, which transformed into a spear light to resist for a moment. With a crackling sound, Ning Cheng's profound ice spear shadows were directly blown into nothingness. Ning Cheng's body had not yet fully recovered, and was once again hit by the lightning arcs, immediately adding more injuries to his previous injuries. Ning Cheng quickly left the place. He felt that changing his clothes at this time was only secondary. In this kind of place, even if he changed his clothes, the lightning arcs would quickly turn him into his original appearance. After changing to another place, Ning Cheng enjoyed a few breaths of peace. The next moment, the lightning arcs once again descended, and this time it was even more intense than the previous ones. After experiencing it several times, Ning Cheng summed up a rule. He could not stay in any place for more than 3 to 5 breaths of time, otherwise the lightning arcs would descend. If he continued to stay in the same place to block the lightning arcs, then the bombardment of the lightning arcs would become more and more intense, and also more and more powerful. But even so, Ning Cheng still felt that it was getting more and more difficult for him to resist. It seemed that as long as he took another step forward, he would be blasted into smithereens by these endless and terrifying lightning arcs. He tried to take a step back, but found that once he took a step back, the lightning arcs that descended from the sky above the Thunder City would become even more terrifying. Moreover, the time interval between the lightning arcs descending was getting shorter and shorter, sometimes even just a breath of time, before he would have to change to another place. Ning Cheng's injuries were getting more and more serious. After he swallowed a few healing pills, he knew that he could not go on like this. If it went on like this, then he would definitely be blasted into smithereens. As for hiding inside his ring, he did not even think about it. He could still see some skeletons outside the Thunder Domain City, but after coming inside, he did not even see a single bone. Not to mention bones, he did not even see any magical weapons, rings and the like. It could be imagined, that anything in here, as long as it was an outsider, would be blasted into smithereens by the lightning arcs of the Thunder Domain City. Once he hid inside his ring, the ring would also be blasted into smithereens. Bang! Ning Cheng was once again sent flying by several lightning arcs, as he crashed into a white lightning pillar. The surface of the white lightning pillar was white in color, but the inside of the pillar was actually filled with lightning arcs. It seemed that in the Thunder Domain City, every place had this kind of terrifying thunder source. Ning Cheng followed Lu Fei's instructions, and circled around the white lightning bead to the right. Sure enough, he found that after he stopped, the density of the lightning arcs was a lot smaller. Not only that, he also had more than 10 breaths of time to rest. It seems that this Lu Fei was not lying. After Ning Cheng took a short rest, he began to sort out the defensive magical weapons in his storage ring. Without any defensive magical weapons, and only relying on the 36 profound ice spears, he estimated that it would be very difficult for him to survive in the Thunder Domain City. There were a lot of defensive magical weapons in his storage ring. There were shields, seals, copper bells, sulfur fans and so on. Because the grade of these defensive magical weapons was not high, the highest one was only a low-grade spiritual artifact. Ning Cheng did not have any interest in refining these things, but now he felt that these things were all good things. After avoiding the lightning arcs in his free time, Ning Cheng also began to refine these defensive magical weapons. No matter how bad the defensive magical weapons were, he did not give up. Lu Fei and Chai Chudai at this time had already arrived at the entrance of the Thunder Domain City. The two of them joined forces to bring out their round shields, while simultaneously bringing out their attack-type magical weapons. Unlike Ning Cheng, the two people's round shields and attack-type magical weapons perfectly blocked the thunder net at the entrance of the Thunder Domain City. The thunder net that had seriously injured Ning Cheng a moment ago, only caused the two of them to suffer some minor injuries, and even consumed some of their true essence. This kid is still very tenacious. It seems that he is actually running towards the depths of the Thunder Domain City. If I had not told him the way to escape, perhaps this kid would have already been killed by the Thunder Domain City. Lu Fei stared at Ning Cheng's indistinct back as he spoke with a sneer. Chai Chudai suddenly spoke up. I thought that he did not have any defensive magical weapons. How could he have so many defensive magical weapons? But he has suffered such heavy injuries, and is still able to move forward. It really is a freak. Seeing Ning Cheng from time to time taking out a variety of defensive magical weapons to resist the bombardment of the lightning arcs, and even throwing them away when they were damaged, and then changing to another one, Chai Chudai was somewhat surprised. She had previously seen Ning Cheng injured in the Thunder Domain Marsh, and had thought that Ning Cheng did not have any defensive magical weapons, but she had never thought that this guy would have so many defensive magical weapons. Lu Fei snorted and spoke. I don't know how many people this person has killed and robbed, to be able to get his hands on so many defensive magical weapons. Outside, he should be afraid of being recognized by others, as such he did not dare to use them, but now that he is inside the Thunder Domain City, he has no choice but to take them out and use them. Let's first let him open the way in front. Once we reach the central area, he will know what is going on. I hope that he can last for 2 days. With the help of many defensive magical weapons, Ning Cheng felt a lot more relaxed. At least he was no longer like before, where his injuries were constantly worsening. But Ning Cheng was also very clear in his heart, that this might only be temporary. Once his defensive magical weapons were completely consumed, he would once again fall into the same situation as before. Before that, he had to find a good way to get out. Ning Cheng simply did not dare to use his profound break spear to directly strike the lightning. At most he could only bring out his spear's shadows to block the lightning strikes, otherwise his profound break spear would have long since been finished. Since he had already reached this place, Ning Cheng no longer had a way out. If he retreated even a little bit, then the lightning strikes would become even more intense. As Ning Cheng moved forward, he was trying to figure out the most efficient way to block the lightning arcs of the Thunder Domain City. Catcha! Another crisp sound emerged. causing Ning Cheng's complexion to turn incomparably gloomy. This was his last defensive seal, and now it had also been blasted apart by the lightning strikes. In other words, after this, he would no longer have any defensive magical weapons to use. It had already been 2 days since he had entered the Thunder Domain City, but Ning Cheng felt that in addition to his skills in resisting the lightning strikes, he had not obtained anything else. Since he had entered the Thunder Domain City until now, he had spent the entire time resisting the lightning strikes. Ka. 2 more lightning arcs fell down, but this time the lightning arcs were no longer as thick as chopsticks, but rather as thick as a thumb. Fortunately, there were only 2 of these lightning arcs. Ning Cheng immediately stimulated his true essence with his profound break spear, but the powerful backlash force directly blasted Ning Cheng into a grey stone wall. Bang! A loud sound emerged. Ning Cheng quickly moved to the side. He found that he had unexpectedly knocked open a door in this stone wall. It was as if it had appeared out of thin air, without any warning at all. Ning Cheng stared at the door in doubt. He could feel a familiar beating coming from this door. Not waiting for Ning Cheng to continue to investigate, a terrifying explosion of lightning erupted from the inside of the door. Ning Cheng could even see a lightning arc as thick as an arm, jumping around inside the door. Shwa! A grey light filled with a majestic murderous aura shot towards Ning Cheng the moment he noticed the stone door. Almost at the same time that Ning Cheng felt it, it had already arrived above Ning Cheng's head. Go inside and offer sacrifices to the city. Lu Fei's sneering voice arrived. Ning Cheng's attention was attracted by the door that he had knocked open, as such he did not notice the arrival of Lu Fei. Not to mention that he was already an arrow at the end of its flight. Even if he was at his peak, he would still have to expend a bit of effort to kill Lu Fei. You can also go in. At the same time that Lu Fei's sneak attacked Ning Cheng, another red light shot towards Lu Fei. Lu Fei had never thought that Chai Chu-dai would suddenly attack him. This seemingly straightforward woman, who did not like hypocrisy, would actually attack him. If he had known about this, he would definitely not have chosen to cooperate with Chai Chu-dai. Chai Chu-dai's attack caused the grey light that Lu Fei had sent towards Ning Cheng to dim down in just a twinkling of an eye, as if it had lost its momentum. Boom! True essence exploded out, as Ning Cheng's profound break spear blocked Lu Fei's attack. Ning Cheng, who was originally planning to summon his soul essence puppet, immediately stopped this idea, as he saw Chai Chu-dai sneak attack on Lu Fei. Chapter 233. Ning Cheng was also surprised in his heart. He had always thought that Chai Chu-dai had a straightforward temperament, and was not good at conspiracies. If Chai Chu-dai and Lu Fei cooperated, then the one who would suffer a loss would definitely be Chai Chu-dai. He did not think that Chai Chu-dai would unexpectedly sneak attack him first. This gave him a wake-up call. In this place, never use first impressions to look at your opponent. Bitch, die for me. Lu Fei raised a dazzling white light and shot it towards Chai Chu-dai. Ning Cheng could clearly see it from the side. Lu Fei's dazzling white light unexpectedly did not block the red light from Chai Chu-dai, as the red light passed through the white light and shot towards Lu Fei. Bang! The white light exploded on Chai Chu-dai's body. Chai Chu-dai's clothes suddenly fluttered, forming a huge round cocoon. The white light and the round cocoon collided with each other, causing a terrible explosion sound to erupt. Ning Cheng quickly brought out the 36 profound ice spear shadows in front of him. Even if Ning Cheng was far away, the aftermath of the explosion completely destroyed Ning Cheng's 36 profound ice spear shadows. Fortunately, it was just the aftermath. After Ning Cheng's 36 profound ice spear shadows exploded, it immediately dissipated without a trace. After the explosion of the white light disappeared, Ning Cheng saw that Chai Chu-dai's whole body had become naked, revealing her snow-white skin. It seems that her clothes had already been blown into nothingness by the explosion. Ning Cheng was secretly on guard, but in his heart he was thinking, back on Earth he had seen many beautiful women in advertisements, but he was sure that none of the women's skin was as beautiful as this woman's. But what made Ning Cheng unable to move his eyes away was that this woman's lower abdomen had a 3-inch long cyan-colored crescent moon pattern. That cyan-colored crescent moon pattern was even flashing with a faint lightning, just like the lightning arcs that surrounded the Thunder Domain city. Although Ning Cheng had not seen many island movies, but it was not the first time for him to see a naked beauty. But what he was surprised about was the crescent moon pattern on Chai Chuti's lower abdomen. He had an intuition that this crescent moon pattern was absolutely not a literary one. Looking at the cyan-colored crescent moon pattern on Chai Chuti's lower abdomen, Ning Cheng discovered that the lightning strikes in this space had at some unknown time disappeared. Not only that, but the path he came from seemed to have suddenly disappeared. The place where the three of them were now had become a small space. An ice-cold gaze filled with dense killing intent swept over him. Ning Cheng knew that this was Chai Chuti's gaze, but he did not care about it. Chai Chudai was just a profound core 8th level cultivator, as such he was not afraid of her. However, he did not continue to look at Chai Chuti's lightning crescent moon pattern, as he found that Lu Fei was still blocking that red light. The red light was like a slow-moving guillotine. It had already touched the space between Lu Fei's eyebrows, moving slowly but never stopping. Lu Fei seemed to be locked by the red light. His face turned paler, and wisps of hot air rose from the top of his head. Chai Chudai, you bitch, if not for me, would you have been able to walk to this place? I won't let you go even if I die, bitch. Lu Fei's whole body surged with true essence, while resisting the red light that had already left a bloody mark between his eyebrows, he cursed loudly. Chai Chudai coldly spoke, Lu Fei, put away your thoughts. You deliberately led me to the central hub of refining the Thunder Domain city's array diagram, but the fact is that you were the one who brought the array diagram in. Do you think that I don't know about it? After that Ant Sikong Kai is sacrificed to the city, wouldn't the next one be sacrificed to me? Elder brother Sikong, we joined hands to deal with Chai Chudai, that bitch, and you want to start with him? I promise that I will give you half of the benefits of the Thunder Domain city. This woman will also become yours. Lu Fei saw that Chai Chudai understood his thoughts, and suddenly turned his gaze towards Ning Cheng. At this time, that red killing light had already penetrated half a centimeter into his eyebrows. Blood was flowing down his face. It was obviously a terrifying sight, but he could not move at all. Although Chai Chudai was completely naked, but she did not have any intention of putting on her clothes. Her entire body was also surging with true essence, while her spiritual consciousness was running rampant. Ning Cheng could easily see that these two people were competing with each other over that red light. Lu Fei wanted to blow away that red light, while Chai Chudai wanted to use that red light to cut into Lu Fei's body. Ning Cheng unhurriedly took out a healing pill and swallowed it down before speaking. It is not that I can't help you. Can you let me have a look at the central array diagram of the Thunder Domain city? If I confirm it, then I will help you. When Lu Fei heard Ning Cheng's words, he immediately hesitated. This central array diagram was not something that he had found in the Law's Way, rather it was something that his father had found in some other place, and then handed over to him. If he handed over this array diagram to this Sikong Kai, then he would not feel at ease. When Ning Cheng saw this, he gave a smile and spoke, Elder brother Lu, you are too slow, you see that red light is about to break you apart. If you lose your life, then what is the use of keeping this thing? Look at how Chai Chudai is doing, even taking off all her clothes and waiting for me to take care of her business. You really do not know how to behave. If you continue to be like this, then I will have to take care of other people's business. Besides, I am just a profound congealing cultivator. What are you worried about? Pata, a sound emerged, as a jade strip fell at Lu Fei's feet. Lu Fei immediately spoke up, this is the jade strip, I do not have the ability to deliver it to you, you better hurry up, I can't hold on much longer. Ning Cheng waved his hand, and the jade strip immediately appeared in the palm of his hand. He did not wait for him to check the contents of the jade strip, when he heard Chai Chuti's cold snort, die for me. At this moment, the true essence surrounding Chai Chuti's body burst out, as the speed of that red light accelerated, and in an instant entered between Lu Fei's eyebrows. Lu Fei's eyes flashed with a trace of despair, as he roared, "If you want to die, then let's die together." A bead with a violent aura was shot out by him. The bead had not yet exploded, but the horrifying destructive aura crazily spread out. Broken core bead. Ning Cheng's complexion changed. He had used this kind of bead before. A single bead had killed 7 or 8 profound core cultivators. Even if he had the ability to reach the heavens, he would not be able to escape from the broken core bead. If it was any other place, then he would have definitely used his twin heavenly cloud wings to escape. But in this place, the space was narrow, as such he would not be able to escape in a short period of time. Broken core bead. Chai Chudai blurted out, as her voice trembled incessantly. In the next moment, a talisman suddenly appeared in her hand. She crushed the talisman, causing a circle of red light to flash around her, while at the same time, an even faster white light shot towards Ning Cheng. Such a vicious woman, before using the escape talisman to escape, she still did not forget to kill him. Knowing that he would be hit by the explosion of the broken core bead, this woman still wanted to make her move. It could be seen that this woman wanted to kill him very badly. Ning Cheng at this time simply did not have the means to think about it. If he hesitated for even half a breath, then he would not be able to think about it. At this moment, other than the stone door that he had smashed open, there was no other place for him to go. Ning Cheng, without any hesitation, stimulated his twin heavenly cloud wings, avoiding Chai Chudi's white light, and rushed into the stone door filled with lightning. Inside the stone door, he only needed to block the lightning strike for a few breaths of time before he could come out, or else the explosive aura of the broken core bead would have already passed. The moment he went in, his spiritual consciousness saw Lu Fei being split into 2 halves by Chai Chudai. At the same time, a terrifying explosion resounded. His spiritual consciousness was no longer able to see even half of the scene inside. Fortunately, Ning Cheng had not forgotten what kind of place he had entered. Even before he came in, he knew that the crisscrossing lightning arcs were as thick as a thumb. Therefore, after Ning Cheng rushed into the stone door, he immediately displayed his 36 profound ice spear technique. He wanted to at least hold on until the explosion of the broken core bead passed, only then would he be able to go out. But Ning Cheng was soon shocked as he put away his profound break spear. The thumb-thick lightning arcs that he had seen outside had already disappeared. There was only one thing inside the stone door. A cyan-colored stone ball with a diameter of about half a meter. This stone ball did not have anything to support it, and was suspended a meter above the ground. On the surface of the cyan-colored ball, there were lightning arcs revolving around it. With just a glance, one could tell that it contained a terrifying thunder origin aura. Before, he had felt a familiar throbbing in his heart. This time Ning Cheng came to understand. This throbbing was because it had a trace of resonance with his mysterious yellow origin. Was this cyan-colored ball the origin aura? Was it a thunder-attributed origin? Ning Cheng immediately remembered the water origin bead that he had obtained at the bottom of the river, as well as the words spoken by the skeleton at the bottom of the blood river. His mysterious yellow bead required 5 kinds of origins to form a world. If this really was a thunder-attributed origin, then wouldn't it mean that he was still missing 3 kinds of origin if he sent this origin into his thunder bead? Ning Cheng was excited in his heart. He immediately used his spiritual sense to drive this huge cyan-colored stone ball, and wanted to send this cyan-colored stone ball into his mysterious yellow bead. But to his disappointment, this cyan-colored stone ball was only because of the mysterious yellow origin, and had a slight resonance with him, but it was not something that he could drive, let alone enter the mysterious yellow bead. Not only could he not send it in, but Ning Cheng could also feel a faint rejection from it. This was not the thunder origin that could be sent into the mysterious yellow bead. Ning Cheng immediately understood. Chapter 234. If Ning Cheng was here, then he would have definitely known that Yan Ji had already formed her golden core without using the profound life pill, and had even stepped into the profound core realm. Ning Cheng's palms suddenly became covered with cold sweat. no matter how powerful he was, he would still be killed. With his level of cultivation, he might turn into dust with just a puff of air. Fortunately, after Yan Ji's golden core hovered over her head for a while, she once again swallowed it down. The powerful true essence around her gradually dissipated, and the spiritual qi that was absorbed also slowly retreated. After making up his mind, Ning Qing immediately sat down under the everlasting blue thunder bead, before opening his mouth and spitting out a mouthful of essence blood onto the thunder bead, while simultaneously using his spiritual consciousness and true essence to surround this blue-colored thunder bead, as he began to refine it. Ning Qing estimated that he had already entered the law's way for a few years, as such it was not wise to continue to waste his time in this place. Besides, he probably wouldn't be able to refine such a terrifying thing even if he exhausted his lifespan. He might as well leave this place as soon as possible. The outside of the Thunder Domain City had long since been restored to its former appearance, with lightning and thunder lingering around. Occasionally, there would be some cultivators who would come here, but as long as they wanted to enter the Thunder Domain City, without exception, they would be bombarded by these inexhaustible lightning arcs until not even their dregs remained. When Ning Qing vaguely saw a powerhouse raise his hand and destroy a planet with a single punch, he almost screamed out in shock. It was just too terrifying. Yet, such a powerful being was killed by a purple spear with a single strike. Although Ning Qing could not see what kind of material this blue-colored stone ball was made of, but he was sure that this blue-colored stone ball was the everlasting blue thunder bead, which was also the central hub of the Thunder Domain City. As soon as he relaxed his mind, Ning Qing quickly entered into a mysterious state. The everlasting blue thunder bead seemed to have an inexhaustible thunder array revolving around it, while Ning Qing's thoughts continuously imprinted his own imprints on these thunder arrays. The mysterious yellow origin was also constantly revolving around Ning Qing's sea of consciousness, cooperating with Ning Qing to carve the traces on the everlasting blue thunder bead. Another hour passed by, when Yan Ji's mouth suddenly issued a burst of whistling sounds. At the same time, he opened his mouth and spat out a pale golden round pill. The aura contained within this golden round pill was even more terrifying, as if as long as it exploded, Ning Qing's ring would also explode. Ning Qing kept reminding himself that this was not a movie, but a real image of the everlasting blue thunder city. Otherwise, he wouldn't dare to believe that all of this was real. The aura in her body grew stronger and stronger, and in the end, it seemed like it was going to rush out of her body. Infected by this kind of aura, Grey Toot Toot immediately stopped chewing the essence-raising fruit, as his gaze fell onto Yan Ji's body. The jade strip seemed to be incomplete, but Ning Qing could still make out some of the vague meanings contained within it. The method to walk around the Thunder Domain City was recorded on a jade strip. The jade strip did not say how to refine the Thunder Domain City, it only said that there was an everlasting blue thunder bead in the center of the Thunder Domain City, and only by relying on the jade strip would one be able to reach that place, otherwise one would definitely be struck to death by 10,000 thunder. Ning Qing immediately swept out with his spiritual consciousness towards the jade strip in his hands. The jade strip looked very simple and unadorned. This simple and unadorned jade strip was sent out by Lu Fei. Although he had said that it was the array diagram of the Thunder Domain City's array formation, he wanted to see if it was really the case or not. A year later, Ning Qing was still refining the everlasting blue thunder bead. He did not even know what he was doing. At this moment, Yan Ji's entire body shook, as a faint colored light condensed on top of her head. Finally, this colored light became more and more condensed, before it finally formed into a pill shadow. Even if he was not able to refine it in the end, it did not matter, it was just a big deal for him to leave. With this simple and unadorned jade strip in his hands, once again walking around the Thunder City, he should not be bombarded by lightning anymore, right? Ning Qing as he saw this felt a chill run down his back, as he broke out in a cold sweat. He had thought that after he entered this place, the reason why the crisscrossing lightning suddenly disappeared was because the thunder source here had sensed the mysterious yellow origin within his body. But he did not expect that it was actually because of the jade strip in his hands. Fortunately, he was in a hurry and did not throw the jade strip into his ring, but rather grabbed the jade strip and escaped inside. The everlasting blue Thunder City's entire body exuded the light of thunder and lightning, as it collided with the powerful magical weapons. The formidable might of the Thunder City directly shattered some of the magical weapons, while the endless thunder and lightning caused the powerhouses to retreat in all directions. This was definitely a good thing. In order to avoid any undue delays, Ning Cheng used all of his spiritual sense to communicate with this Blue Thunder City. He wanted to put the Blue Thunder City into his ring. Unfortunately, the artifact spirit had already disappeared, leaving only this Thunder City unconsciously absorbing the thunder source. What a formidable Blue Thunder City! Ning Cheng had just thought of this, when a mournful scream arrived. Ning Cheng had just caught a glimpse of a black arrow. This black arrow had shot into the Blue Thunder City. Time passed in this kind of infinite loop, 1 month, 2 months, in a blink of an eye, half a year had already passed by. If Yan Ji was still sober, she would have definitely understood what was going on. Because the spiritual enhancement True Nectar had washed away the impurities in her body, allowing her to advance to the profound core realm to become a matter of course. He finally managed to communicate with this Thunder City, although he had not yet refined this Thunder City, but he did not need to continue staying here to refine it. He was able to communicate with the Thunder City's first layer restriction, which made him feel that with his current cultivation, if he wanted to refine this Thunder City, then even if he did not spend countless years, he would not be able to succeed. Ning Cheng did not think that with his trivial profound congealing cultivation, he would be able to refine such a terrifying Thunder City, but he still wanted to give it a try. Lu Fei and Chai Chudai only had the cultivation of profound core realm, which was not much higher than him. If they had such an idea, then it meant that it was possible to refine this Thunder Domain City. The shadow that was thrown out of the everlasting Blue Thunder City should be the rank 5 Blue Thunder City's artifact spirit. Ning Cheng sucked in a mouthful of cold air. He knew that even an ordinary true artifact would find it difficult to produce an artifact spirit. If the everlasting Blue Thunder City had an artifact spirit, then what kind of magical weapon would it be? A cultivator who could condense their golden core without the use of pills, would definitely have top-quality qualifications among the top-quality qualifications. Even if it was the Blue Cloud Academy's core disciple Yan Ji, in the absence of a top-quality cultivation method, she would not be able to condense her golden core without the use of pills. Advancing from the profound congealing realm to the profound core realm. Ning Cheng tied the jade strip to the back of his hand, and began to look at the blue-colored stone orb. He was afraid that the lightning inside would once again run rampant, as such he did not dare to put the jade strip into his ring. Yan Ji had been at the profound congealing 9th level for a long time. The reason why she had not advanced to the profound core realm was not because she could not advance. It was because she wanted to save up for a period of time, so that her foundation would become even more solid. But now her foundation was already very solid, coupled with the spiritual enhancement True Nectar that had washed over her body, it enhanced her perception. In this case, advancing to the profound core realm was just a matter of course. The spirit stones that Ning Cheng had thrown into his ring seemed to have gone crazy, as they turned into a spiritual chi mist that rushed towards Yan Ji. This spiritual chi mist was completely sucked into Yan Ji's body, causing the true essence around Yan Ji to become more and more powerful. An ancient aura similar to the one in the Thunder Domain City spread out. Ning Cheng immediately knew that this simple and unadorned jade strip in his hands was the real deal. This kind of aura simply could not be faked. In a distant place, the everlasting Blue Thunder City was involved in a terrible war. During the war, countless powerhouses were killed, innumerable magical weapons were destroyed, and innumerable planets were turned into ashes. Those two idiots, they actually said that they wanted to refine the Blue Thunder City. Wasn't that just harming people? He had really thought that he could refine the Thunder Domain City, and had wasted more than a year in this place, but the result was that he was still unable to take away the Thunder Domain City. If he had known this earlier, then why would he waste his time here? Ning Cheng's mind had just started to communicate with the everlasting blue thunder bead, when he felt his entire body shake. The next moment he could no longer withdraw his spiritual consciousness, as his spiritual sense was completely locked onto by the blue thunder bead. In other words, even if he wanted to leave now, he would not be able to. However, if not for the fact that the Blue Thunder City did not have an artifact spirit, would he be able to communicate with the Thunder City's restriction, and see some information about the past of the everlasting Blue Thunder City? Inside Ning Cheng's miniature world, Grey Toot Toot was currently chewing the essence-raising fruit that Ning Cheng had placed inside. While Yen Ji was sitting on the edge of the spiritual enhancement True Nectar Pond, her entire body was surrounded by a spiritual charm, while the surrounding true essence fluctuated endlessly. The original name of the Thunder Domain City was the Everlasting Blue Thunder City, but he did not know which era it came from, nor did he know why it appeared here. Ning Cheng could only find some clues from the vast information that he had obtained. Ning Cheng did not panic. He found that after he began to refine the everlasting blue thunder bead, this blue thunder bead instantly communicated with his sea of consciousness, and even began to absorb his mysterious yellow origin. Even so, Ning Cheng did not feel any danger. He believed that there should not be too much of a problem. To refine the Thunder Domain City, it was necessary to refine the everlasting blue thunder bead. In his view, since the Blue Thunder City was an ancient treasure, then it should be able to shrink. Perhaps he could even put it into his miniature world. Besides, he had also communicated with one of the layers of restrictions, although he could not refine it, but at least he had a connection with it, right? It was just a trace of incomplete information, but that terrifying might cause Ning Cheng to spit out a mouthful of blood, and then a vague shadow of the Thunder City was blasted out of the everlasting Blue Thunder City by the arrow. That vague shadow rushed into the torn void, and disappeared, while the everlasting Blue Thunder City was blasted into another endless void. But Ning Cheng soon came to know that what he had done was useless, as the Blue Thunder City did not move at all. Ning Cheng at this time came to understand, not to mention that he had only communicated with one of the layers of restrictions. Even if he refined this layer of restrictions, he would still not be able to take away the Thunder Domain City. After Yen Ji swallowed the golden pill, Yen Ji's face once again reverted to its original blank expression, as if everything that had happened a moment ago was not something that she had done. Pa-ta, a subtle sound resounded in Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness. Ning Cheng suddenly opened his eyes, as a vast amount of information rushed into his mind. In the space where Ning Cheng was located, a crisscrossing thunder light once again appeared. The only place that did not have any thunder light was the place where Ning Cheng was sitting. People really cannot be too self-righteous. If not for the internal strife between Lu Fei and Chai Chudai, even if he had the mysterious yellow origin, he would not have been able to come in here. Chapter 235. However, after spending more than a year in this place without getting anything, Ning Cheng felt somewhat unwilling. Thinking until here, Ning Cheng once again tried to communicate with the first layer of the everlasting Blue Thunder City's restriction, and sent out a message with his thoughts: if you can be taken away by me, and become my magical weapon in the future, as long as your artifact spirit still exists, I will definitely help you find your artifact spirit. Although Ning Cheng was not an artifact crafting master, but he knew that all the top-grade magical weapons had a spiritual nature. Even if it had lost its artifact spirit, the magic treasure still had a certain spirituality. If this Thunder Domain City did not understand the meaning of his words, then he could just forget about it. Ning Cheng had just finished speaking, when he felt a burst of roaring sounds coming from all around him. The next moment, it was as if the space around him had been dug out of thin air, and suddenly became empty. By the time Ning Cheng reacted, he found that the Thunder Domain City had already disappeared, and he was once again standing in the middle of the endless Thunder Domain Marsh. From time to time, there would be some small lightning flashes falling down, but these lightning flashes were simply not worth mentioning to Ning Cheng, who had already walked through the Thunder Domain City. He did not even need to use the profound break spear to block these tiny lightning bolts. In Ning Cheng's Zifu, there was one more thing: a Thunder City surrounded by lightning. At this moment, the Thunder City had shrunk to an extremely small size, and was suspended in the Zifu, just below the mysterious yellow bead. Ning Cheng was surprised to find that the everlasting blue Thunder City was side by side with the Celestial River, and did not fall below the Celestial River. Come out and blow it up. Ning Cheng's thoughts fell on the everlasting blue Thunder Fort. Because the battle images of the everlasting blue Thunder City had been hovering in his mind, Ning Cheng wanted to bring out the everlasting blue Thunder City to test out the might of this blue Thunder City. However, to Ning Cheng's disappointment, when his thoughts fell on the blue Thunder City, the blue Thunder City did not budge at all. There was not even half a shred of response. Ning Cheng gave out a sigh. It seems that his cultivation was too low. Wanting to drive this blue Thunder City, at least for now, it was impossible. It was truly a pity. If he could drive this blue Thunder City to protect himself, then even if he had to face a soul essence cultivator, he would not have to fear it. Fortunately, he had already taken away the blue Thunder City. In the future, he could refine the blue Thunder City at any time. He didn't believe that he wouldn't be able to drive the blue Thunder City even after countless years. If he waited until he reached the great circle of the profound core realm, then he would be able to drive the blue Thunder City. Then what would the Thunder Tribulation be for him? Stimulating the twin heavenly cloud wings, Ning Cheng rushed out of the Thunder Domain Marsh with his fastest speed. After coming out, Ning Cheng immediately called out Yan Ji. He intended to let Yan Ji continue to stay by his side, and then talk to Yan Ji, so as to restore Yan Ji's sanity as soon as possible. Have you already condensed out your golden core, and become a profound core cultivator? Ning Cheng looked at Yan Ji who was standing in front of him, as he asked in a somewhat incredulous manner. Although it was much better than when she was at the bottom of the heaven, but although she was a Yan in such a situation, how could he possibly advance to the profound core realm? Yan Ji was still blankly looking at Ning Cheng, as if she did not understand what a profound core was. This Cheng actually to say, Chen Yen, looking, Yen of Cheng Ning King Yen, Cheng Yan Ji still, Yen, Cheng Yen. This time, Yan Ji actually nodded, found a direction, and quickly flew towards it. Ning Cheng quickly followed behind Yan Ji. At this time Yan Ji's realm was already a level higher than him, coupled with the fact that her speed was not reduced at all, and was flying with all her might. Even Ning Cheng had to use the twin heavenly cloud wings from time to time to keep up with her. Stop! Seeing Yan Ji rushing towards a mountain peak covered with natural restrictions, Ning Cheng quickly sped up and grabbed Yan Ji's arm. Yan Ji stopped, and looked at Ning Cheng with a puzzled look. Ning Cheng had asked her to find a way out, she was just following her own senses. Ning Cheng helplessly pointed to the mountain peak in front of them and spoke, there are some restrictions around this mountain peak, moreover there is a terrifying aura coming from it, there is definitely a Class 6 monstrous beast here. If we rush out from this place, we would definitely alarm that monstrous beast. So in this kind of place, we have to go around. Yan Ji actually understood Ning Cheng's words, and really flew around the mountain peak. Ning Cheng felt that as long as he and Yan Ji continued to chat, maybe Yan Ji would be able to recover. Yan Ji was indeed very smart, although she had not fully recovered her sanity, but she was able to understand Ning Cheng's meaning. Along the way, whenever she encountered a dangerous place, she would immediately detour around it. Along the way, Ning Cheng also encountered many good places with spiritual grasses, but Ning Cheng had already obtained the everlasting blue Thunder City, as well as the spiritual enhancement True Nectar, as such he was already very satisfied with it. At this time, he just wanted to get out of here as soon as possible. A few days later, Yan Ji stopped in front of a huge whirlpool. Spiritual consciousness could not sweep inside the whirlpool, moreover there were 4 words above the whirlpool, the Grand Tao is incomplete. Ning Cheng felt that this whirlpool was the exit of the Law's Way, but he did not understand what the words the Grand Tao is incomplete meant. Entering the Law's Way to cultivate, and passing through the Law's Way, the main purpose was not to look for heaven and earth treasures, but rather to cultivate in this place, and through cultivation, one could perceive the laws of heaven and earth. Because inside the law's way, the laws were complete. Why was it that when he wanted to go out, he would see the words "the grand Tao is incomplete" here? Yan Ji was standing beside Ning Cheng. It was obvious that whatever Ning Cheng wanted to do, she also intended to do it. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept around the whirlpool for a long time, but did not see anything different. He grabbed Yan Ji's hand, and carefully took a few steps towards the whirlpool. A powerful force pushed over, but at the same time, there was also a powerful force that sucked in Yan Ji. Ning Cheng was greatly shocked in his heart. He quickly revolved his true essence, and pulled Yan Ji to forcibly retreat. Only after the two of them had retreated a few dozen meters away, did the powerful suction force disappear. Ning Cheng then understood, although he could not get out of this whirlpool, but Yan Ji could get out. If it was not because his cultivation was not enough, then it was because the exit of this whirlpool was Yan Ji's, and not his. Thinking till here, Ning Cheng directly took off the miniature world ring on his hand, and put it on Yan Ji's hand and spoke, "Once I enter the ring, you will immediately rush into the whirlpool." Seeing Yan Ji understand his meaning, Ning Cheng immediately entered his miniature world ring. Seeing Ning Cheng disappear, Yan Ji immediately rushed into the whirlpool. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness wanted to observe from the outside, but he found that a terrifying force had completely strangled his spiritual consciousness. He was so scared that he quickly withdrew his spiritual consciousness, and did not dare to continue observing. After a few breaths, Ning Cheng once again stretched out his spiritual consciousness, and found that it was not affected. He immediately came out of the ring. Yan Ji was standing alone on a huge floating bluestone. She did not know where to go. Ning Cheng took back the ring, and took out a flight-type magical weapon and spoke, "There is a spiritual chi aura here. We should have reached the edge of the Lu continent. I will take you back to the Lu continent." Here, Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness could already feel a part of the spiritual chi aura. He knew that they should have really been transferred out. Looking at the unparalleled beauty of Yan Ji at his side, Ning Cheng knew that as long as he returned to the Lu continent, he would have to send Yan Ji to the Blue Cloud Academy. Otherwise, if Yan Ji followed him, it would not be a good thing. Ning Cheng wanted to open Yan Ji's ring, and find a scarf to cover Yan Ji's face. However, after thinking about it, he still changed Yan Ji's appearance into that of a somewhat good-looking middle-aged woman. At the same time, Ning Cheng also changed his appearance into that of an adventurer with a valiant aura. This kind of adventure was an unremarkable existence in any continent. Moreover, a man and a woman, two adventurers walking together, was even more common. Just in case, Ning Cheng also deliberately sealed Yan Ji's cultivation at the Qi-gathering realm. Ning Cheng was afraid that someone would recognize him, and treat him as a devil cultivator. Inside the law's way, he did not have to fear others, but once he came out, he would still be an unremarkable existence. The Dragon and Phoenix City was one of the largest cities in the Lu continent. The reason why Ning Cheng came to the Dragon and Phoenix City was because of a few things. First, he wanted to send Yan Ji to the Blue Cloud Academy. The Dragon and Phoenix City definitely had a station for the Blue Cloud Academy. Second, he wanted to find Kong Peng Peng here, and return the things that he had promised Kong Peng Peng. Third, he wanted to see Elder Sister Shu, and also give some spiritual enhancement true nectar to Elder Sister Shu. As two ordinary adventurers, Ning Cheng and Yan Ji easily entered the Dragon and Phoenix City. Ning Cheng took Yan Ji with him. He was ready to find a place to stay, and then go look for Elder Sister Shu. In his heart, the person he trusted the most was still Lan Shu. At the side of the cultivator's rest stop, a wanted poster caught Ning Cheng's attention. When his gaze fell on the wanted poster, he almost turned around and ran away. It was clearly written on the wanted poster, Devil Cultivator Cheng Xiaoning. Cheng Xiaoning's original name was Ning Cheng, and was a cultivator from the Jia Continent's cultivator army. In the law's way, this person had a berserk devilish nature, robbed cultivators, killed people like flies, and even killed Yan Ji, a core disciple of the Blue Cloud Academy. After this devil cultivator left the law's way, if anyone could provide any information about him, they would be rewarded with a best quality spiritual artifact, along with 500,000 spirit stones. If anyone could capture this person, the reward, behind the two images, were the Wu Nian Academy, the Blue Cloud Academy, the Gue Yuan City. There were also a few other academies that Ning Cheng had never heard of. Among the several major 9-star forces of the Lu continent, except for the Dragon and Phoenix Academy, the rest were all on the list. Ning Cheng's heart sank. Other than Yan Ji, there were only 3 people who knew that he was called Ning Cheng: Jia Lingwei, Nalan Rushue, and Zhang Sun Yan. Yan Ji had always been by his side, so it was obviously impossible for her to speak about this matter. Among the other 3 people, in the end, who was the one who leaked the fact that he was Ning Cheng? Ning Cheng's gaze swept to the other wanted poster, and a flame instantly ignited in his chest. Wanted for the devil cultivator Lan Shu. This woman and Ning Cheng were jackals of the same lair, and had once hid in the Dragon and Phoenix Academy. Openly defending the devil cultivator Ning Cheng, killing the disciples of the Gue Yuan City and the Wu Nian Academy in the Dragon and Phoenix City. Although she was seriously injured by the Gue Yuan City's elder, but she still managed to escape. If there was any news about this person, it was the Gue Yuan City again. Ning Cheng's fists were clenched so tightly that ka-ka sounds could be heard. He could not wait to immediately kill his way to the Gue Yuan City, and completely wipe out the Gue Yuan City's Gue clan. Elder sister Shu must have tried to defend him, as such she killed the cultivators who slandered him in anger, and then ended up being wanted. At this time, 2 profound core cultivators passed by Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng heard one of them speak. Next month, the Gue Yuan City's young master Yu Hai and the Wu Nian Academy's Nalan Rushue are going to be engaged. I still haven't thought of what kind of gift I should send. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.